I'm breaking them chains and I'm up on the road. The same kind of chains kept me down in a hole. If you feel the pain, then you feel in my soul. Cause when I say chains, I ain't talking about gold. I'm talking about chains like the lock on the door. I'm talking about chains like my story's untold. I try to make change with the lock that I own. So when I say chains, I ain't talking about gold. It's funny how the top take you closer to the bottom.
Oh, man.
That's a new sound.
Eli, what's up, man?
What's up,
I almost
man?
want to play that longer. That's so for all of you fans that have been around since day one, and all of you fans, even newer fans, you know, we promote Long Cut, buddies of ours, great music and great artists. That's a teaser right there, man. That's a new track that's coming out for their new album. And what better guest to have if we're gonna blast a new song than bringing JT back on?
Long Cut himself.
Man, thank you so much for having me, boys.
I didn't ask you to talk yet.
My bad.
Don't come out with the
Don't
fucking
speak yet.
humble thank you. No.
This is how we treat our guests
No.
here at Day One Dollar
Motherfucker. No, man, it's super cool. We've been talking. We've got a couple of projects behind the scenes, and Iron Cowboy wants you guys to do some music for his documentary, and that was cool. So we were just going through some music, and you guys got new stuff coming up, but then there's also some existing content that you guys have that might be good for his documentary, and we're gonna go take a little road trip, see him. He's doing his 100 Ironmans in 100 days.
Wow.
He's on like day 8 right now. He's
100
insane.
Ironmans in 100 days, bro.
Well, he did 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 states. The travel was insane. If you guys haven't seen Iron Cowboy's documentary, it's insane. But we're going to drive up and see him during one of these 100 days and chat with him a little bit more about that and see if you guys can close the gap. But during the time of us just looking for some music that might be fitting for that or some new stuff, man, like you sent this one to me, I got greedy. I was like, oh, this mine. Like I felt like Dad going through Halloween candy. All these tracks, like, oh no, this one's bad for you. I know. But it's also super cool because if we can tease it and get a good response from the song, man, like, you know, we can you guys can use that for some other stuff, and it would go well in that dude's documentary. I thought it was super cool. Got a great vibe to it. We'll play some more on our way out, but if you guys are listening right now, or if you haven't heard this podcast before, Day $1 Zero, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. You can also watch us on YouTube. We don't optimize that much. We get like a half a view on there. So for the half person, I feel like it's a person how do you get half a person
Go
watching?
throw us some love on there,
They're
guys.
like watching, but it's passively
Yeah,
while they're
yeah.
doing dishes. It counts for a half. You know, we appreciate the support on that. I'm sure we'll start optimizing there at some point. But we've done pretty well on the iTunes and Spotify stuff, and had a great time. But it's always fun, you know, especially when we talk about Day $1 Zero and what that means and how we still approach every day like it's Day $1 Zero. You know, on our climb, everything that we've been doing, but then just having some of our close friends come in and talk about what they're doing in the climb and what's going on. And I'm sure you've got a ton to talk about because COVID was not friendly to the entertainment business, the restaurant business. Sometimes they coincide together. You know, like either way, you guys have large crowds, you do concerts, and that was not a thing this past year. And so I'm sure you guys have getting creative and doing what you got to do, man, and not being romantic how you make your money right now to provide until you guys can get back out and do your thing. And I think you guys are starting to do that soon. But yeah, man, let's vibe out and talk about some of the shit, man.
Sounds good, man.
So COVID happened.
Yeah, well, I'm still vibing on that song.
Such a good song.
Well, you know, you talk about COVID and you talk about that song represents, you know, what's been going on. You know, it's time to break chains. It's time to, you know, mix it up, do something different, adjust.
Was that COVID inspired?
I know. I don't really know if it was COVID inspired.
He did have a line about a mask in there, but I don't know if it was like,
I wrote that
it
part
rhymed.
while we were in COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the overall song, I don't know. I think it was just good timing.
You like how I just discredited you and you guys just blew right over it? Like, I don't know if he meant this shit. Maybe he said mask because it rhymed with task. And JT doesn't really care about his lyrics. He just says a bunch of shit that rhymes. Like,
funny.
I just say some bullshit on the mic.
That's funny.
And you just let that roll right off.
Let it roll.
I don't know if it's because my word matters so little that you guys just fucking roll, or if you guys just
used
know
to
me
it,
so
bro.
well,
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
it.
yeah, you're an idiot.
Well, dude, if you don't mind, man, we have a ton of new listeners since you've been on the first time.
Yep.
So JT Adams, he's with Long Cut, the artist of the song who we use for all our intros. But give him a little rundown of Long Cut if you don't mind, man.
Well, Long Cut is two guys, myself and Brian Thomas. And so him and I both have been doing music for quite some time, but we came together and developed Long Cut just over 3 years ago. And man, it was exciting because it was new. It was a new sound. It was in a new genre, and it was fun. The live shows were fun. The fans are fun. The mud parks. Everything about it was different than what we were doing. So it was just exciting to wake up and write these songs, shoot these videos, and go on the road and tour with some of the artists that we've toured with. When COVID hit, it shut down the biggest tour of our career
That you had planned,
that we had
lined
planned.
up, booked,
We were
paid
going
for,
on the
ready to go.
road. People sold out shows all over California, Arizona, Colorado.
Yeah.
We just announced that we're playing at the Sundance Saloon on April 24th, and there's people that still have their ticket from last April.
God damn.
And that's good that they held on to it because it's still good to go.
Yep.
But that's just that to put it in that timeline, man,
Year ago.
a year ago.
Yep.
And so that tour would have definitely put a lot of fuel behind Long Cut. So we had to make adjustments, though. So Brian and I now live across country. He lives in North Carolina, and I'm here in Colorado. But we are still shooting videos. We're still, we're dropping an album. We're still staying at work, really working the social media stance. But the touring side for a young band, that's the heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we have to be able to find something that's just keeping us relevant. And our method has always been put out good music.
Sure.
And so this album is full of good music, just like our last album. And so our last album was called Spit Cup, and that is still streaming good numbers.
So a spit cup, see, is when you chew tobacco
Yeah.
Oh.
and you got nowhere to spit in a cup. Now,
Gotcha. Okay.
Food for
Yeah,
thought,
thank you for
though.
that.
because you got to be careful.
These virgin ears out here.
You don't need any
listening.
blue on blue. So if you happen to be a young cop and you're in training, and you chew tobacco, and your training officer allows you to have a treat on a Friday night, and you get a Slurpee, and you're done with your Slurpee, but he's not done with his, it'd be a damn shame if you spit in his Slurpee thinking it was your empty Slurpee.
Right.
And my buddy did that, who I was in FTO with, and his training cop was best friends with my training cop, and that was not a fun week because of that. It was not a fun week, man. So
even when you
listen,
drink your own.
don't be a buddy fucker. No, that's fine. That's your own shit.
That's your own shit.
That's your own shit. Look,
Still
and it's
not
someone
pleasant,
else's.
I imagine. Oh, I took a big old gulp of someone's fucking spit before.
and that's not cool.
It's terrible.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
You laying down playing with yourself and you make a mess of yourself. That's on you.
Yeah.
Nobody else deserves whatever byproduct you're releasing at that moment. So I'm just food for thought. If you guys don't know what a spit cup is, make
So
sure you
spit
have
cup.
one. Make sure it's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you're spitting in your own spit cup. So Spit Cup was our last album, and so we haven't titled this album yet.
Okay.
We're going to kind of just let the process keep rolling.
I got a name.
You got a name?
Continue though.
Okay. And so I was just on the phone with Demon, and we were talking about the album, what we're going to name it. And so we're just going to kind of let the process happen. We got a couple music videos to shoot. There's going to be a phrase that's said or somewhere along this journey that it just hits, and you're like, that's the album name. But we're excited about it because we have a different distribution team that's going to be pushing this album. We have different visuals. We have more visuals. Our last album, we only had maybe one, maybe two music videos for it. Voodoo and Deer Killer. I think that was it.
VOODOO.
Yeah, dog. This one's going to
Shit's
have
creepy.
4 or 5 music
Hell
videos
yeah.
that come with the package. And we have a merch campaign we're putting together. So our approach, it has a little bit more depth and texture to it rather than just saying we're dropping an album and we're touring 50 states.
Yeah.
Because that is a solution.
Yeah.
But it's no longer an answer right this second.
Yeah, and even Texas, right? Like, what's I'm having a brain fart. Is it a mayor that runs the state or a governor?
Governor.
So a governor runs the state, correct? So like
Yeah.
in Texas, the governor said, "Yep, we're opening up." Mayors have something else to say. So if you're not savvy with that stuff, or if you're just watching like the clickbait stuff on social media, you think like Texas is like, "Yep, no masks. Hey, we're going live. Everybody's opening 100% come Wednesday," right? And I think that was last week. Not all the mayors agree with that stuff, so it's not like people think. So that it's still taking some time to get things out there. And I'll tell you this much: if big corporations like the NFL, the NBA, the MLB can't put asses in seats, man, it's like shit.
Well, Dana
hard.
White called Dallas and got shut down.
Yeah, and that's
Really?
and so that was one of the guys talking about it.
Yeah.
That was explaining like the whole governor mayor thing. Like, yeah, we'd fucking love to do fights in Texas, but it's not open like you guys think, and here's why. So it's interesting.
Did you watch the last Izzy fight, UFC 259?
Let's hear
Clips of it.
Yeah,
It was pretty good. So
fell
Izzy Adesanya moved up
Yeah.
to light heavyweight.
that's 2 weight classes up, isn't it? From where he was
I
at.
think it might be just one
No,
weight class
I think
up.
he's 2 classes because he was a middleweight.
Okay, in 2 weight classes up, and took on the 205 champ, Bronkowski.
Did he get knocked out or just
No,
lost?
it went the distance, 5 rounds. It was a really safe fight. But man, can you imagine going from a venue of however many thousands of people to the Apex that have 30 people in there, and it's literally, as someone watching it on TV, I can hear the fighters breathing.
Yeah. Just gloves slapping.
I mean, yeah,
Well, it's great for the audience. It's great for the people watching.
But imagine the fighter.
No, I know, but it's great for the. I'm going to get to that. It's not that I'm a fighter. It's great for us watching because you can hear the hits. You realize how much something hurts more than you maybe didn't think, and then hearing them breathe heavy, like you can kind of see where some of the fatigue and some of the breakdown is, and just it allows you kind of to just absorb yourself more into the fight. But yeah, for fighters, here's the deal: it could help you or hurt you. And I think some of it is predicated on whether it's helping or hurting your opponent.
Well,
Like a Conor McGregor.
Right.
No, he just got. I mean, the dude.
He feeds off that.
And I don't want to like discredit his fight. He lost, and it is what it is.
I won money on that fight.
Yeah, well,
Did you?
I
didn't
put it
share
on
any.
Poirier.
There you go.
It wasn't enough to share.
Oh, okay.
You
But
gotta
the
at
point
least break
is,
3 bills.
and,
to
and,
share.
and the dude fought him. The dude fought him really well, right? Poirier fought
Yeah.
him really well, and the calf kick was, he did a great job. And I'm not going to sit here and analyze the fight like I'm a fight analyst, but you have to wonder, like, man, like that dude feeds so much off of energy. It's not so much that not having it hurt him. It's that it didn't help him, because a lot of times, like, even his opponent in that fight talked about the first time he fought Conor, it was unreal. The following, the cheers, like the people in the audience, like that are just yelling at you, like, you're gonna get fucking murdered,
Right.
and you're like, oh shit, like, and he's like, he literally said when he was in the ring, he felt like the whole deer in the headlights thing before the fight actually started, and I think
that's what
Donald
I
Cerrone
felt.
talked a lot about that too. So it's like, man, like, you take that element away, man.
Well, Izzy's that same kind of fighter. I mean, I've seen Izzy come out with a full dance crew.
Yeah.
Making up his own dance.
Yep,
I mean, that's
He thrives off that.
that's entertainment.
showmanship. Yeah.
This fight, he walks out with his arms crossed almost, very slow, and gets in there and just
Almost like he's trying to change his demeanor to fit what it looks like,
right.
or like just chameleon into whatever the environment is right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what's going
That
on,
would be
man.
awkward,
Dallas.
right?
But here's the
Yeah.
deal. Here's the deal, man. He just needs to fight John Jones. Both those cats, because like whether he lost, I know John Jones is on Twitter saying like, "Hey, you can't even beat that. Hey, the dude that beat you, I guess John beat at some point, or isn't even close to beating John. I don't know. No speculation there, but John was like, if you can't even beat that guy, why are you talking about fighting me?
Right.
The reality is, who cares? Just fight the dude.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think John Jones will starch him.
And I'm going to pay for it every time.
Yeah.
I love it. It's my favorite sport. But I was surprised to hear that Dana reached out and got shut down by Dallas, and now he's reaching out to Houston. So, I mean, that's right, because when I saw the Facebook post about Texas opening up, Georgia opening up.
Yeah,
I called Raw Records right away and was talking to Demon about let's book shows. People were hitting me up on Facebook, and reality is that's
not
not
what people think.
Yeah, it's not what you think.
Clickbait at its best.
For sure.
And it's like, yeah, Texas, dude, that's a real America. No, that's clickbait.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, it's just going to take time and a bummer. But it's been interesting to just hear how people like just improvise. Like for Elon and I, we started a YouTube channel called Living in Denver, Colorado, and that was it was like a COVID project, man. It was right at the brink of when it was starting, and we started doing that. It was just to find a quality way to just reach clients remotely while still giving a ton of content and a ton of like just valuable things that we thought mattered if you're moving here, if you're from here and maybe don't know everything about here. And it's been outrageously valuable. I mean, the amount of business we do just through YouTube, because we've got a call to action. Hey, as much as we love doing real estate, or as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with real estate needs. The number on the screen, the email on the screen. We are the guys who answer the call. We are the guys who text message back, and we are the guys who answer the emails. Like, if you got any questions or if you're moving here, like, let us know. Dude, I mean, we've done $12-13 million in revenue, right?
Volume, yeah.
Not revenue, in volume,
That was
excuse
like
me.
this month.
Yeah.
that was like this month. Yeah.
Dude, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, it comes out. You're looking at several $100,000 of.
I've changed
pay.
about maybe 1,200 diapers.
Yeah.
Equally or as more important.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is it's not just about the sales, right? I'm not here to gloat about sales and make it something that it's not, but it's important. And it was a huge success that we adapted, right? So beyond the money made, right? Like, yes, this is an entrepreneur podcast. I'm okay to talk about that stuff. If people have questions, I'm okay to lay things out because, no, the financial side does matter. We're talking about entrepreneurship and surviving and building whatever brand you want to build or whoever you want to be. But, yeah. You've got to survive. You've got to be able to stand on your own two feet and provide. So I'm okay talking about it. I just don't want to solely make it about that. But
Well, it's a huge thing to
win
talk
was-
about because, I
it
mean,
is.
like adapt and overcome is the foundation
It was a
behind guys
win.
like you and I.
dude, and the confidence level him and I have of like, hey, we can improvise and adapt to our situation and create something that's not only good during COVID. It's not, dude. This channel that we're doing, it's going to be good all the time. Like, it's just a good resource for people to have. But we didn't realize the necessity for that until we got tunnel vision and super hyper focused because of restrictions, kind of like shooting at night. Sometimes, dude, believe it or not, folks that are not savvy with shooting, believe it or not, even without your ACOG and some, if it's like a low light environment and you're still shooting with iron sights, believe it or not, you can shoot better. And it's because the amount of distractions that you can see and observe and just make available to your line of sight, it's not there. You're focused on your muscle memory, you're focused on your positioning, and you're focused on making sure that you're shooting straight. And it's almost like COVID, man. It was the restrictions happened, right? So it forced us to go super, super narrow. But just like water, man, you make water super narrow and it'll pierce. And it just put us in this lane of just figuring that, and we got the depth of where we started succeeding, and it almost eliminated distractions for us, and was like, this is what we can do. So we're stuck at home or whatever. We're gonna be in the basement and figure this thing out, and we're gonna get outside and be safe and create content. But it almost like forced us into this hyper focused but less distracted mode that created a diamond.
As long as
You
we
know,
kept
and, dude,
showing
we're
up.
proud of it.
And
As long as we kept showing up.
That was the thing with us, man. We didn't miss. And I want to know, like, the path, because you had this shit all planned out, and then COVID happened, and it was like, fuck, what do we do? Like, him and I, we just kept showing up every day. We didn't miss a single fucking day, no matter what the fucking mayor said. It was like, man, we showed up, and
we
were
showed
like,
up and did whatever was legally allowed.
Yeah, what are we doing?
We have
Yeah.
real estate licenses. You can't just go rogue and do something that's not allowed, right? Like, it had to be within the realm that was allowed. But dude, you were allowed to go outside. A lot of the content we were filming was drone footage and B-roll and getting outside and
doing our podcast, having other real estate guests
Yeah,
on,
but
seeing
then
what they're doing.
putting
Yep.
that content online, and it was a big win for us, man. We were proud of that.
So when you had this whole thing planned out, you're like, fuck yeah, this year is going to be amazing. I'm sure that's not cheap setting all that stuff up.
No.
I can't imagine doing one event planning, let alone a whole
Just
tour.
just the merchandise order that you had in place.
Yeah.
You know, $10,000 merchandise order that you're sitting on because you know you're going to be hitting 30 states.
Yep.
You know, but at the same time, things happen for a reason for different individuals, and it was it was a blessing in disguise because I got to be there for my daughter's birth. I got to,
cool.
and I'm still in a situation that's unique to anything I've ever experienced. I'm home every day. I'm involved in my baby's life every day.
Yep.
I'm going to barber school. I'm writing songs that are different. It just has evolved me into being something that I've always wanted to be, but I never really had the time because I'm always on the road. I'm always gone. I'm always doing something that has put itself in a position, not to say more important. It was a little bit, it was like I had to do that. But now it's cool because I can wake up and be there, be the tip of that needle every day, and I'm growing as a person because of that, and that's going to make us better as artists, and it's going to make us more impactful on stage.
Yep. And when you're looking at long term, man, you ain't going to be looking back thinking about this year that you didn't get to go on tour. You're going to be thinking about the diapers that you
I'm pissed
changed,
about it.
getting it. Well,
You know,
when you're 60, man, you're going to be looking at your daughter like, man, I'm
Right.
so glad I was there for, those first years. And here's the thing, it's kind of funny, like when people are chasing success or business or whatever, when you're not there, you're not there. Your kid doesn't know that you're not at the bar with your buddies fucking off,
Right.
or you're at work getting after it, trying to build a big future. You're just not there. like that's one of the like catch-22s of it. It's just if you're not there, you're not there, and that's hard, you know. So
because I would come home and I would be out on the dinner date or they're cooking dinner, but am I there?
right,
Because my phone's ringing, I got emails coming through, messages, and I have to continue to engage.
Yeah.
COVID really shut that down and almost simplified my life for me to make decisions for myself for once.
Yeah.
And I'm really impressed because my decisions were to spend time with the family and go on trips and be that father that I've always wanted to be. And it was hard. It still is hard. But even being there every day with my wife, that's hard. But I'm growing as a person that I've always wanted to be.
Well, and it's gonna be
know?
hard.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, right? And I'm not a saint. Let's not even get started, right? But anything that you want to be great at, it's hard, you know. And like,
Yeah.
and it just requires work. Like, you want to be great at working out, it's gonna be hard at first. And then guess what? When you get great at working out, it's still hard. It's just a different type of hard because now you're able to push your body at such a more rapid rate. And just a lot harder, but you're still making it hard because you start realizing the benefit of that. And like, not to say that your family is always going to be hard, but when you want to like dial that in and time block it, and being present and being where your feet are at, it's hard not because you don't want to be around your family, right? It's hard because there's just so many other things going on, and you're trying to give yourself to everybody and everything because you're building something. But that then at the same time, you want to like be where your feet are at. And that's where so not to put that on you, that's where I kind of struggle is there's opportunity there. And there's people that I've committed to that, you know, for business and certain things. And there's people that reach out on Instagram, and I really enjoy interacting. If you guys, shout out to Will _Grimes. Find me. If you message me, I'll respond to you. Because people, man, they tell you their stories and they tell you like how your podcast is helping, and we're by no means in a spot where we've made it. And I think that's the number one thing people love about our podcast is like we're successful dudes that are clearly still on our way up and have a long way to go for ourselves. But hey, we're making it happen, and people can still relate to us, and they're encouraging. And so when they reach out, even if you don't know them personally, that reach out of mattering to someone fucking matters, man. And it fuels me. It fuels me to do what we do, because just prior to this podcast, we were out doing real estate. That's our backbone. We're still entrepreneurs out there doing it. This is, you know what I mean? Like, this is not a podcast where this has just made it and it's making so much money that we're just good to go. No. And that's okay too. We're on our way up. But when someone reaches out and just says, like, man, this helped me in this way or that way, it's like, man, cool. Because sometimes we're in here and we're tired or it's late or whatever it is, but we know it fucking matters, and we love empowering people, bringing the power back to entrepreneurs and individuals who want to build a brand, and just getting creative and teaching them how that works, and our stories, and pouring into this and figuring out like how our past and present can pour into others. And so when people thank you or reach out, I don't want to not respond, but I also need to understand that, hey, if you respond 2 hours later or the next morning, that's okay. You don't have to respond right away. But my problem is, like, if I don't respond right away, I might fall behind on some of the messages.
You respond in really cool ways because of your video and your content that you put out.
Right.
You know, there's times where you guys pop up on my feed and I'll click and it's just maybe a 3 to 8 minute video, but it's relevant. It's right in my face. And so I didn't have to have a direct response from you. You guys are putting out content
See, and that's where I have to learn.
That's a great point.
Like, I was talking to Andy. I was talking to Andy Frisella, for those of you guys that don't know, stud. And we were talking about it, and he's like, man, like, it's impossible to respond to everybody. And I don't have his following. So for me, it's not impossible, right? But he's talking about it, and he's like, yeah, dude, sometimes I'll just have to get on a video. It's like, but hey, he's like, dude, not everybody expects you to respond right away or even at all. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Because even in some of the messages I get, it's like, hey, I'm sure you get a ton of messages, but just thank you. And hey, if you can't respond, that's okay too. Just felt compelled to reach out and just thank you for what you're doing. I was like, dude, you already think I can't respond and you're not mad at me. It just makes me want to respond. It makes me want, like, man, like you have this predisposition, if that's the right phrase, that like, I'm not going to respond. I want to win that. I want to like make you feel, no, man.
It's
like
one by one, man.
You think your voice doesn't matter, and I want to prove to you that it does. But at the same time, like, just getting better at time blocking some of that and like setting an hour aside to go through it, because for me, I naturally operate in real time. Like, I'm at where my feet are at, right? Like right here. But guess what? Fucking phones right here, notebooks right here, laptops right here. Like, I do whatever I need to do right where my feet are at. That's the problem. I need to like put your phone where your feet are not.
Right.
Put that shit in a ditch, dude. And just, you know, and the other thing too, man, is like family's so supportive. Like we don't argue or fight about that stuff, which is almost like a hindrance because it allows you to do it more. And like I don't argue with my family with what they're doing. They're on their technology, cool. But yeah, it's just that battle of like you want to pour into people or thank people that are thanking you for your music or for whatever you're doing, but you still want to make sure that like you give family time. So it's again, like, it's not that family's hard. Like you can't, well, maybe they are, maybe you can't deal with your family, but I think what you're trying to say is like, it's not that they're hard. It's just that you want to do so much and get back at it and try to like get above the curve as COVID leaves, right? To just fuck, you know?
It's definitely different. And you know what's great is that Raw Records has phenomenal leadership. Demon Jones goes back to the 101s that he told us on day one.
Damon Jones, y'all.
Damon Jones. And so he tells us all the time, put out dope music and each fan is earned and one by one. And that's why it's important to be there with those merch sales and the meet and greets and you're signing your autographs, to respond to the emails and the messages, because the second you start thinking that someone's going to do it for you or you know what, that person's not going to, that person remembers.
Everyone matters, bro.
Every single one.
Everyone
It
matters.
reminds me like when I was a cop and like I stopped being a cop. I would get recognized, you know, like someone like say something to me and like you realize like, oh, you've arrested hundreds of people. You don't remember any of them, maybe a couple.
Yeah, they fucking remember.
They fucking remember you, buddy. Oh, you want to put some headphones on and not pay attention and work out on Chambers and Alameda, 24-hour fitness?
Dude,
no go.
I'll still think about the cop that busted me at a party for doing nothing. I know exactly what he looks like.
Oh man,
if I saw him today in a
nothing
Walmart,
like doing nothing
Yep.
and getting caught and then projecting that bullshit onto our podcast.
it's true. Literally did nothing.
was
bro.
doing nothing.
I was.
I know what he
Yeah,
was
it
doing.
wasn't.
He
I
was
wasn't doing shit.
He was smoking some skin wagon.
Nope.
No?
No skin wagon smoking.
Skin in a smoke wagon?
Just chilling, bro.
All right.
Just chilling.
Question for you, man, on the
yeah.
music side. Every time you make a record, are you trying to like, is it a mindset of like you're trying to outdo the last record or song? Or is it like you don't compare your songs? You just want to make sure they're always quality? Because I could see how if you're always trying to like outdo the next song you just did, it's like, is it even possible? Like that could get weird, right? Versus like just being in a flow state of creating great music and nope, I don't compare any of my songs to themselves. Kind of like children. I love my children all the same, you know, for different reasons kind of thing. Like are you trying to outdo something? Is there some level to that? But then also like you also don't want to like try to like dive too far in it and just make sure that it's great music, or well, how do you go about that stuff?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Shout out
welcome.
to Tosh, who always thinks Eli has good questions. JT thinks I have.
Yeah, that is a good question because, you know, you can be too picky.
Yeah.
You know, because you never know what the fan is gonna like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was just on the phone with Raw Records on the way over here, and we were talking about a song that was "Call Me Country" is the name of the song, and it was me, Brian, and two other guys that are in the construction industry. They're not even musicians, but they were singing and rapping on that song, and it's doing great numbers. And you know, and then you take a song like Voodoo that you put so much creativity into, and you're really trying to make this stand out, and it doesn't do as good as that song. And so you just have to approach each creative opportunity for what it is and take advantage of your senses that are fired up right then and there. And I call it the sweet spot. You know, my sweet spot is late into the night, and I've already gone into my second, third wind, if you would say, and where I'm kind of delirious. And I'm listening to
1 in the morning.
Yeah, even later, you know.
Yeah.
And I've been smoking a lot of weed, vibing out to good music, having good conversations with folks and paying attention to just kind of what's relevant. And then, you know, you hear an instrumental that catches you. And then from there, you just kind of start putting together that skeleton, and you kind of can know after that skeleton's built what you got. You could have something, or, hey, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, because when I smoke weed, Eli gave me weed one time, and I ate food, and I wasn't creative at all.
Well,
dude, speaking of, no, don't even try. Look, see how he's already on the defense? Listen to me. This is what happened. I used to be in the military and law enforcement and some government work, and I was an outstanding citizen protecting my country, my state. I was real, since I got around this guy, just making mistake after mistake. So he gives me some weed.
Don't blame it on the marijuana,
Dude, it's
man.
so fun. Bro, marijuana story. I am blaming the marijuana. We smoke it. I get a little goofy. We listen to some Bone Thugs and Harmony. I laugh.
That might have been the problem.
Could have been. Dude, I get hungry.
Shit.
So I go inside. It's late. I'm not cooking or anything like that. I'm not even going to make a peanut butter and jelly. That's how lazy I am at that point. But we had fortune cookies like on top of the fridge, right? So I don't know if I told you this yet. So I'm like, well, I'll eat that. That's good enough. Gives you some food. It's almost like it's just boredom or whatever. Munchies. So I start eating a fortune cookie, and I read the fortune. I go, So I eat another cookie. Read the fortune, like, I ate like 20 of these cookies. And then I take all the fortunes. Oh my gosh. And I'm trying to chronologically put them in order to like tell my fucking future. It was a disaster. So embarrassed next morning when I wake up just looking at the tabletop. Like, bro,
wrappers.
So long story long here, not productive smoking weed at all. So how you, or like some guys smoke weed and fight, some guys smoke weed and play basketball at the highest level. You're writing music. I couldn't do it.
What I was gonna say is the environment does matter a ton, and the mindset. Like, if I'm smoking weed and it was 1 a.m. and I'm coming home from my buddy, I'm not going home being creative. I'll probably sit there and do the exact same thing you did.
Right.
However, if I was trying to be in a creative headspace and intentionally vibing out to some music, having some good conversations with people, and seeing where it took me.
What is it? How do you look at the music when you're sober? Does it change? You're like, what the fuck is that? That's crazy. Does it seem more extreme when you look at the lyrics when you're sober? Like, because what I'm getting at is like, when people get drunk, and I'm not a musician, right? So, or I'm not an artist, right? I'm not an artist, right? So but you could think it like, okay, if you're drunk, if you're high, like you say something, and it doesn't seem that extreme or that like you're pushing limits, but then like when you're sober, you're like, man, I said that. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever look at your lyrics and go, or do you just start molding them even further when you're sober, or do you just leave them alone?
I like how you say sober. Marijuana is a medicine.
Sorry. Well, what were you curing?
That's where
sleep.
That's where I think the marijuana steps in hugely. Is when I'm not medicated, I have anxiety and thoughts that feel like they're restricting me or making this process really
And I don't mean
complicated.
sober like you're coming back from rehab. I just mean like when you're not influenced by marijuana. Don't try to sit on his side of the table. Listen to you guys. I'm gonna be paying all kinds.
Hey, this is my 3rd time, and I ride on Eli. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, bro.
This is.
I'll be paying these dudes disability for a while now. Like, no, I don't mean like that. I see how you're framing me up to be a bad guy right now because I'm not against weed. I do think some people just aren't as productive on it. That's
They're
for
not.
sure.
Absolutely.
So what you're saying is like for you, it's not so much that you need to. It's just is it just how it calms you. So how I react to it's different than how you react to is what you're saying.
It simplifies. I don't know. It just kind of makes it happen. I can hear an instrumental and just step on a mic and just start putting thoughts and phrases together
and a bike.
And then a song gets created.
Mike and Ike. Yeah,
exactly.
Terrible.
To me, dude, for me, it like takes down roadblocks, and like roadblocks in the sense that like, okay, I get home from work or something. Maybe there's just like normal tension between you and your girl, and then it ultimately might no, not well, kind of sort of like ultimately it just might be. When you're just irritated with each other, nothing even happened, but you're just fucking rubbing each other wrong.
It lets you take the
and
edge
then
off.
the vibes. You can feel the vibes.
I'll get in the shower and smoke some weed, and then I'll just be in the shower and be like,
who cares?
Megan, like yell at her. She'll come in, be like, I love you. I'm sorry.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So weed makes you give in.
No, not give. It just takes down. There's nothing to give in anyway. It was just weird tension of like
where you're on the fence and like instead of attacking a fight or forcing it, it just makes you go the other way.
I'm just like,
well, that's
man,
why
chill the fuck
it's
out.
different for different people because different people, they have different. I wouldn't say problems, just those vibes. Because I have a paranoia vibe about me.
Yeah.
I think that the world's out to get me.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's looking at me and plotting on me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then marijuana humbles me.
Yeah.
Reminds me that we're a speck in the universe, and that I'm not important and that I need to be the tip of the needle right now and be engaged on what I can influence.
Yeah.
And that's where I guess it allows me to be more creative is that I'm not thinking of anything outside the realms of my pay grade. I'm staying in my lane, and in my lane is where I'm creative.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where I guess it allows me to be more creative. Is that I'm not thinking of anything outside the realms of my pay grade. I'm staying in my lane, and in my lane is where I'm creative.
Yeah.
The second that I start overthinking is the second that I start stumbling. Marijuana keeps those left and right lateral limits within my reach.
Yeah.
And that's how this album got put together. Was we smoked good weed, we vibed out, we went to Georgia, we went out to North Carolina, and we've spent time with each other with the right vibes around. And marijuana is the backbone, I believe, behind taking whatever personal issues you're bringing to the studio or to the mic. It leaves it outside the room for you to do what you need to do.
You know what's interesting, man? Like, I'll feel like it doesn't make me more like necessarily more creative. It doesn't make me more like of a risk taker or more conservative. What I feel like it helps me do is just break the cycle that your brain will just go in these cycles sometimes. And like, for example, if there's a work situation that is happening right now, and
I like how he waves.
It's nighttime.
He waves like in my direction.
The work situation.
I feel like I just stressed you guys the fuck out.
No. And there's
I feel like we're in a peer counseling class right now. Like you guys are like passively just putting all your shit on me.
Like, let's say there's a situation happening at work. Sometimes, in the evening, if I'm smoking, and again, usually I'll like smoke right before I get in the shower before bed, and I'm in the shower, and sometimes as I'm thinking, it'll break that cycle, and I'm like, okay, yes, this is as serious as you're imagining it. Hey, you got it. This is how you're going to handle it, and this is what you need to do. This is the email you need to send. This is the phone call you need to take. And then there's other times where you'll smoke, and it breaks that cycle, and you're like, hey, bro, what's going to happen is going to happen. You did this the right way, and you just need to chill the fuck out.
See, that's so cool, because as goofy as I got on weed, if I smoked weed before I got in the shower, I'd probably end up just playing with myself, giggling the whole time.
That happens sometimes too.
Fucking nothing productive. Nothing productive would happen. I would just do the whole elephant tusk thing in the shower, and like my lady would be like, "You're
make
weird."
The phone call when I'm smoking weed. I do want to make the important call. I do want to follow up. I'm more productive.
Yeah.
I think it's because I'm more focused on. I'm not thinking about anything else.
You're engaged.
I'm engaged. I'm there. I know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in everything, when it's with my kid or if I'm playing Call of Duty. I mean, I get super baked, and I will get my phone, and I'll play a round or two of Call of Duty, and I murk them.
Yeah,
There's Call of Duty on your phone?
Dude, Call of Duty Mobile has taken over.
Really?
And I love it. I don't know if y'all follow me on Facebook, but I'll be playing it, and I'll screen record, and I'll post it on Facebook.
And it's easy to navigate on your phone?
Man, I went off and I bought, it looks like an Xbox controller.
Okay, and you hook your phone up
and
to it?
It plugs right into the side, and it clips into a little mount. I got headphones with a microphone. My son, both my older daughters are on there.
Damn.
And that's how I engage with them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, I'm really having a good time.
Can you play with people on Xbox?
No, it has to be only COD mobile.
Okay, I got you.
And I just found that out because I shot a big shout out going, join the Spit Cut Posse on COD, and everybody got on me.
Like, where is it at?
Yeah. So COD mobile is a different platform, but it's just
Gotcha.
real convenient and it's fun.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm just saying. I can smoke and find that moment for myself and be in that moment for myself. And then when I come out of that Call of Duty game, it's like I just reloaded a little bit. Yeah.
I bet I would start you on that game.
I don't know, man. I've gotten handy. I just looked at my kill counts on Sniper. It's like 2,700.
You ever been killed on that game before?
Yeah.
It was me.
Oh, it was you? What you don't got? No, you're lying.
Call sign Reaper.
Call sign Reaper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Good.
Yeah, join the Spit Cut Posse.
I'm gonna change my name right now so you can't.
Make him do some like voice chat on there. It's probably fun.
I don't join posses, bro.
Sometimes I gotta mute the headphones though, because it's like kids on, or the TV on somebody else's.
Laughing at you, just 8-year-olds, just
murking
running.
you and just talking.
And you're like, hey, I did the real shit. Come out to division schools, I'll put it on your ass. And they're like, what? You were a real one? What an idiot.
Well, they just came out now where you can have a snowboard. So instead of running all over the place, you can hop on a snowboard. You can jump in a helicopter.
Dude, we got to stop doing this work thing. And
that's
get
like
into
Triple
video
X.
games.
Man,
that
I
ain't
love
Call
it.
of Duty. That's Triple X with like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, remember
and
that? He
shit.
had like a fur coat on.
Yeah.
Nothing like being 5'6" with a fur coat, a ton of cocaine, and a snowboard.
I think what got me into it is that my son is 9 years old, and he told me, Dad, I'm going to be a gamer boy. And the thing is, if we would have said that when we were 9, the PlayStation would have been thrown out back.
It did get thrown out back.
Right.
I fought with my sisters over Nintendo one time. It was gone.
Yeah.
You know where it was at? Storage. You know how we figured that out? My sister turned 18, moved out. My parents were giving her furniture, old furniture from storage to use for her first set of furniture.
There it is.
Nintendo. There it
in
was.
a Walmart bag.
Bro, we had it when I was 6.
Yeah.
I remember because I remember the house we were in, and it was before I went to kindergarten. Right when I was going to kindergarten.
Great condition.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a totally different world now. You know, I
is.
mean, this kid, this is its own industry.
Mhm.
I mean, they're getting sponsors, they're getting paid for their views. There's a whole platform.
As much as athletes.
if not more, man.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And so when my son said, I want to be a gamer boy, at first I was kind of taken back on it because he's a lefty.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, no, boy, you're going to pitch, you know?
You need to go meet your Uncle Will.
But, and that's what he does. He loves baseball, but he
Okay, yeah.
loves gaming.
Yeah.
And he's smart. He's very, very smart. When he talks
Yeah.
about it, he's excited. He has conviction about it. And so I want to be able to be present and relevant.
Yep.
And so I got involved, and I've found that it's fun, but it's cool because I get to connect with my
Speak
son.
that language.
Speak that language, man. You know, and that's just what you have to do.
It is.
And that's what we had to do with long
Tosh
cut.
does that. Yeah, not to cut you off. Tosh,
Mm-hmm.
he was trying to coerce us into that too, wasn't he? I bet he's like secretly good. No, probably not. He's old. But he was talking about how he plays Call of Duty and stuff with his son.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And then he started talking to Eli about it. Eli and I. And he's like, yeah, nobody wants to be on my team. He's like, I suck. And he's like, I gotta talk my son into being on my team. But Kate, she's like super good at it.
It's fun, man.
She's like that chick from the Vietnam War, the like Asian female.
There's a whole tab on
Seriously,
Facebook
bro.
now
There's
just
this
for gaming.
notorious Asian female sniper from the Vietnam War.
Oh, no shit.
That was a part of the Viet Cong.
It was in a movie, wasn't it? The Full Metal Jacket.
I don't know, but the shit was real. I can't say it was real.
Probably.
Allegedly.
Hey, if you
Allegedly.
believe it
Probably.
is real.
The bottom line is that's kind of like how she is
Shit.
on Call of Duty.
Yeah. She
Yep.
is.
You gonna hit this?
Sure, man.
Look at you guys.
Don't blow it that way.
I'm gonna put it on Will now.
Oh yeah,
Blow it down and away.
We had a fire alarm go off on here earlier.
because these guys.
Man,
are-
I'm telling you right
these
now,
guys are lighting
if
fire.
I feel guilty, that means I'm probably the one.
Yeah.
And so right when that thing went off, man, I knew it was
Yeah.
because I blew that smoke cloud.
You
up
think
in-
so?
I don't know, but
you should definitely incriminate yourself on.
well, I looked out there and they didn't. None of those people looked like they would do anything to cause a fire alarm.
It might have been
would.
the
They
electrical.
would.
Yeah, they would. Yeah,
Okay.
they run a weed company.
We'll blame
bro.
it on the
Yeah.
electrical.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
long? What was the time between blowing it and then the alarm going off?
What the fuck does that matter? Are you gonna figure it out?
60 seconds, maybe.
Ooh,
Eli.
Yeah, I'm in the wheelhouse, bro. I'm definitely
That's a very good chance. That
a
could have been it.
suspect, dog.
Dude, nothing like your guys' high
Banter.
science, just like
man.
solidification. Like, oh, well, it was seconds of this. Like you guys are just.
I mean, that's a reasonable question. He
Yeah.
blew a puff of vape.
Well, now
up
everybody
there.
knows. Hey,
Maybe
our
later.
new spot. If it's undisclosed, we haven't told anybody where it is. We built out an old bank, but apparently we maybe share the spot with a marijuana company. Imagine that. So
Imagine
narrow it
that.
down.
Yeah, I need to get some covers for those or something, man.
Ain't
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
don't
that.
adhere to like code.
Yeah.
Just cover them up so you guys can smoke.
We
your
still
dope.
got that one over there.
You guys are
We'll
terrible.
be okay.
I feel like a victim on this podcast.
We'll be okay.
I feel like I need to smoke because of you guys.
So-
So I also feel that that's what you guys are trying to fucking
I would
do.
love for you to smoke this.
I would love for you to shut the
Well,
No,
I
man.
think that
Oh shit.
I'm not against it. I just really like water.
yeah, water's great. I've been drinking a lot more water. My wife has made me
That's so
drink more
funny.
water too.
That's
Like,
good, man.
dude. Holding me accountable to
That's
a point
good.
where I get like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Don't tell me.
But
to
then you're
drink
gonna
water,
start
but
to
I have
like it.
to. I'm loving it.
What's
man.
your goal every day? What are you trying to hit?
I'm trying to hit 8 glasses a day. Like
What the fuck is that?
That's a start, man.
True.
64 ounces.
I like just attacking
half gallon.
him.
Now here's the thing, dude.
What the fuck is that?
Grape juice is my Achilles
Oh,
heel.
what?
I like
Really?
grape juice a lot.
Really?
Oh.
Grape
Ice.
juice or grape drink?
The purple drink, dog. I'll put it
You
down.
talking Kool-Aid or you talking like ocean spray juice?
No, I'm talking like the government grape juice. The one
Okay.
that
Oh,
like
yeah.
is
Not like
tucked
the
up in
fizzy
the
kind.
back in the back right corner of the cooler.
All
You know what I'm
dusty
saying?
and shit.
Yeah.
So it's not Kool-Aid,
It's not Kool-Aid. I don't even know what it's labeled. It looks like a little small barrel.
but it's juice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
It's you
Generic
gotta mix.
Kool-Aid.
You gotta mix it with 4 things of water.
It's
Oh,
concentrate.
yeah.
Yeah, and man, I put that on ice, and so in my mind, I'm
Dude,
like,
generic shit's legit.
yeah,
Oh, it is.
You ever had generic mac and cheese?
Generic everything.
I'm not a big mac and cheese guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
me neither. Not
golly,
anymore.
man.
Now, if you cut hot dogs up on it and put
What?
salt and pepper and some
No,
ketchup, I'm down.
dude, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, I like
Oh,
that.
shit.
no.
That's like some
No.
gourmet fucking.
I think
mac and
boot
cheese
camp.
right
I think
there.
boot camp did it in for me with the mac and cheese.
I ate yogurt sandwiches in boot camp.
Yogurt sandwiches.
We had no time.
Damn.
I was trying to think macros and shit, like protein,
Yeah,
fat, carbohydrate. You get some Dannon or some Yoplait yogurts.
Yeah.
slop it on a piece of bread.
Yep,
It ain't
yep,
bad. Macro-wise.
Yep.
It's not the best tasting, but macro-wise.
It's like 8 protein.
I just remember one time somebody got caught with like peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Not like Reese's Pieces. No,
No,
like
the peanut butter
in
packet.
a cup that you use a knife and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
spread it. People got caught. Somebody got caught.
You're not
with
allowed to have
in there.
that?
No.
Dude, you eat at the cafeteria. Let's look at him. He's fucking
Peanut
failed.
butter? You're not allowed
That's
to have peanut butter?
contraband.
Listen, man,
dog.
you can have
Shit,
it. You just
man.
can't take food back to the barracks.
Oh.
You eat breakfast,
So if
lunch,
you
and
like-
dinner.
Okay.
And if they give you 10 seconds to eat, that's it. You don't get to put shit in your fucking pockets
Yeah.
and bring it. But yeah, get caught.
And
So-
you can't like have it on your own. You can't like bring
No.
it yourself or
No.
No,
have your
Eli,
mom
you're-
send it to you or some
listen,
shit.
OFP.
Yeah.
You were not
Yeah.
on your own fucking program in boot camp, okay?
You definitely can't have your mom send
Could
you
you
a pack of
imagine
cookies.
him?
You know what I mean?
Well, my mom sent it to me. What the fuck, guys?
Now, here's the thing. If your
Hold
mom
on.
sends you a pack of cookies, you better have enough in that pack for one for
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah.
And it landed on a good day, and they didn't fucking throw it at you.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember one time they let us eat. 2 times was Crucible. Time before that, it was it had to be first phase. End of first phase because we hadn't gone up north yet. I remember going to the cafeteria, bro, and it was so bad. I think it was breakfast, lunch, and we got fucked up right before dinners. So we go to breakfast. Drill instructor sit down. Drill instructor Sergeant Graham, shout out to that crazy guy. He goes around. We're all in line, standing at attention, waiting to get our food. He goes, eat. Hey, load your tray. Eat. Take your time. Eat all of it. You're just like, yes, sir. He said it to everybody. And you're also not in a place to even understand what the fuck's going on. So we did that. All right. Then we go back for lunch. Same thing. He's like, hey, eat everything. So what we did, right? Then we had PT again in the afternoon. Before that PT session, like you got to go back and change into your PT gear, right? So we're in camis. We go back. We change in the PT gear. He's like, cool. Grab your canteens. You're like, all right, both of them. You got to run to the head, fill them up. We did it. We're standing online. And he goes, drink them.
Uh-oh.
And they start counting down. I don't know if it was both or just, no, it was just one. It was just one because you had to hold it over your head. When you were done drinking, you had to hold it over your head upside down and show you drank it all. And you're still like, what the fuck?
With no drip.
Yeah, minimal. He didn't give a shit about the drip. It was like he was trying to cause for effect here, and I'm going to get to there.
Oh, yeah.
So we were done drinking. He goes, go back, fill it up. And you're like, what? Yelling, go back, fill it up. So you fill it up. On the third one, dude, everybody just starts, because you can only hold so much water, especially when you got a bunch of food in you, right? He knew the math on that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's done this to a lot of guys, right? So we drink that. We're starting to drink that third one, dude, and like people just water, food, and we're all online in front of our racks. A couple folks start yakking. Everyone else starts yakking because they saw people yak, or you're just drinking your water yakking. Yeah. And it's just, dude, the entire floor just flooded. Food, water. And then he fucking goes in his pocket and he grabs these fucking peanut butter cups somebody had. Can't remember who it was. But he's like, don't ever fucking steal food like that again.
Oh, shit.
So he's like, oh, you're hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Because he pulls a guy out there. You have to because now everybody's going to see who fucking did it, who caused the trouble. And because because this recruit was hungry, sir. Whatever dumb shit excuse you got. Good. So we ate.
Yeah.
Done eating. Get that out of your system.
Yeah, that's called hazing, right?
I don't know. Allegedly.
Training.
It's a lesson, that's
but
for
then
sure.
we had to go out and PT, dude. You're like,
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
hell,
dude.
man. But I don't even know why I was talking about that. But
You guys ever do
Brutal.
the gallon challenge?
the gallon of milk in
Do you
an hour?
remember in
No.
division schools?
Yo,
Yeah, you remember that?
We did.
Yeah, there
we
was a
did
couple
do it.
guys in
Tell me.
division schools
Yeah.
that just believed that they could chug a gallon of milk under an hour.
Not
And
gonna
so
happen.
they had it pulled up on Google that it's been done before. And this one guy was like, all I do is drink shakes. I can put this down.
It's like impossible, right?
Well, yeah, I called my mom. She's a teacher. She's a science teacher, and I asked her about it. And she said, no, the calcium and how cold it is. I guess there are some variables that help, like if it's warm.
But it makes people want to do it more because when someone's like, nah, the science ain't right on that, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
what,
Fuck
bitch?
science,
Shut the
yeah.
fuck up. Give me that gallon.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember they would I mean, it would come. They wouldn't even get halfway through it.
Damn.
I think it's impossible. And then you have other challenges like the marshmallow or the cinnamon.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we know
That one just looks terrible.
You've done that one?
No, hell no.
I haven't done that one.
I've eaten-
It seems dangerous.
You ever have like a saltine cracker? That's all I need to be
Right.
like, I know exactly what that cinnamon challenge tastes like. And
Or
I
like
want
the
nothing to do with
marshmallow
that.
one. I mean, that's scary
What's
watching
that one?
somebody. I think it's called
Marsh-
like Fuzzy Buzzy or something like
Okay.
that.
You have to eat marshmallows?
You eat one and you say funny bunny or whatever it is, and
Okay,
you eat
yeah,
two,
yeah.
and now you keep
So you
stuffing
keep
them. And
trying-
you keep trying to say that word, and it gets funny.
Yeah.
And you start laughing. Now you
Gotcha.
got 13 marshmallows in your mouth.
And you can't get them out.
Yeah, dog. And I've
Like, dude,
it's
like a dangerous
scary.
one is a cue ball challenge. If someone ever challenges you to put a cue ball in your mouth, you can get it in, you can't get it out.
Oh, that's
Straight
good
up,
to know.
like a cue ball in pool.
It's really good to know.
Not that
I
anyone's
had no
on this
idea about
podcast.
that.
Hey, just in case you're out doing any hat tricks at concerts.
Yeah.
You
in
never
some
know.
bar
Don't do
down
that
in
one.
Donuth, Alabama. Don't do
do
it.
that
Don't
one.
do the
Cue
shit.
ball.
Except that one girl, you tell to like do it, and she's all, yeah, what's the big deal? You're like,
Is a cue ball now? What? Look, I've always tried to figure this out.
Okay.
How does the cue ball go to different route than the rest of the balls? Right? If you scratch,
Mm-hmm.
it comes out the cue hole.
Because of the size.
It's a different size?
It's a different size.
You guys don't know that the
I
cue
don't
ball,
know it's a different size.
I
It's
didn't know
heavier
that.
and it's a different size.
I
Like
had
when
no
you
idea.
specified cue ball in your previous story,
Yeah.
part of me was like, I wonder if it's a different size.
And I was wondering, like, would the 9 do the same
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
I wonder if you kids stop smoking weed and get out of the fucking house and go learn some shit. You might know.
Go hang
had
out
no
at the
idea.
fucking
Hey, the back of the
pool
pool
bar.
stick's bigger
Yeah.
than the front of the pool stick, too.
I just had no idea how it's separated like that.
There's
you know
also
what
a
I mean?
crack in the back of your ass, too. You guys know that, right? So, boy.
I hear.
You
I
need to
hear.
smoke, homie.
Speaking of crackers, remember the MRE cracker challenge? You try to eat like crackers with nothing on it, like 2 minutes.
Oh,
Like,
dude, that's worse than a
I don't even know why we're
saltine.
bringing that stuff up. Terrible.
Nasty.
Terrible.
Well, man, I like your new spot. It was easier for me to get to.
Was it?
Yeah, because
it
I
wasn't
moved.
my house.
Well, no, because I moved to Colorado Springs, and it's a straight shot. Living out in
Are you
Fort
north
Morgan.
side or south side?
You don't miss Progress Circle?
Oh yeah, dude. I do.
Remember that? You came. You
Progress.
live of course, Grimes would live on a street called Progress. What the fuck?
No, I just moved down to Colorado Springs less than a year ago, and I live on the west side.
Yeah, cool.
I
Yeah.
live right in like Manitou Springs,
Uh-huh.
old Colorado.
That's where the
Yeah.
incline is. You do that yet?
I'm right there. No. I've watched it be done. It's right in my backyard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude,
You gotta
I'm,
hit that sometime.
I'm
bro.
more of
No, you
like
don't.
I'm more of like an observer, man, a witness of people doing greatness. You know, I like that.
Vicariously
You know?
through.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
someone who wants to go run that. Like my wife's brother, he came to visit.
Yeah.
He was here for 3 days. He ran that thing every morning.
Damn.
Yeah, and he stretches all the time. You know, he's just that type of guy. You know what I mean?
Bro, what's he running from?
That's what I'm asking,
That's a lot.
Yeah,
dude.
it is.
And it's way up there.
Manitou's no joke.
Yeah, we've done it.
Or the incline.
Yo, you've done it?
Yeah, regrettably.
I've never done it.
You like it.
And we
No,
drove.
you would not like it.
You like it.
No.
Don't
It's
listen
an
to
hour
this.
walking some stairs.
Hey, he's the same guy that was like, you can't have food for yourself.
Yeah.
He fucked the entire platoon. He's about to fuck you on the
No,
incline.
if I
by
knew the
telling you
rules,
like
I
it.
wouldn't do it.
I think I like driving through that area, getting
Mm-hmm.
high. Everything I do really kind of falls back on if I can smoke and do it.
Yeah, you ain't smoking the incline.
Hiking is like,
The-
yeah,
hey,
of
the,
course.
The incline smokes you.
Yeah, I ain't
You
trying.
ain't smoking the incline.
Some
And
mutual
I
smoking.
could do it if we
Incline
had
is the
phase
biggest
lines.
pothead.
If there were phase lines laid out, and we had
No.
about a 45-minute gap.
You
for
can't
me to
because
rest.
people are going up and down that thing. You got to keep it moving,
Right.
man.
You
too much
you
pressure
can
for
step
me.
aside.
And if you're gonna do it, you do it. It's for the work out of it.
I got a staircase in my house that's probably about maybe 22 stairs.
Yep.
22,
And-
that's a lot.
And it is, and it's straight
Yeah.
up kind of.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Because my house is stacked like that, you
Yeah,
know. And,
yeah.
and that thing, yeah, it wins me.
22?
Yeah, and if I got my hands full with like,
I feel like it's
A
12.
baby.
yeah,
Hold on a minute. It's not 22 steps.
yeah, I think so.
I feel like it's 12. You're just the guy that like goes up with your right foot and puts your left on the same step.
Double tap.
Yeah. So you're counting both feet. You're not counting.
It's pretty straight up, man, and it might be like
It
19.
is.
You know,
I got
but-
so irritated even when you just said that. Like imagining being behind someone walking stairs like that.
It's like the same guy that
Ugh.
like stands on the flat escalator in the airports. That's me.
yeah, I
no,
just
like
you're,
that
you're
same
talking about the walkway.
Yeah.
The flat one. You're like,
Yeah.
hey man, keep it moving.
yeah.
Yeah,
Keep
there
it
needs to be a
moving.
sign. People, genuinely, I get disturbed when people stand on that because people are trying to go fast. But I also don't get too upset with them because
Stay
it's
to the
not
right.
made clear anywhere that
No,
you're supposed to walk on that bitch.
But traffic rules are
Okay,
Stay
for
to the right if
escalator,
you're going to be slow.
Do you
Stay
just
to the
stop
right.
on the escalator when it's
I
going?
do.
You do.
That thing's
Yeah.
treacherous to walk on.
It
Well,
is.
here's why I stop on that, even because I don't really carry a lot of baggage. Like when I don't have baggage, a little bit of baggage. When I travel light. But even if you try to walk like up and down the escalators, the problem is there's just small gaps of where you could walk before someone's kind of in your way. You might as
Yeah.
well just stand and just. It's not like you're getting. It's like when people speed through traffic, stoplight to stoplight. It's like, hey, dude, you're just not getting any quicker.
Well, I'm glad
You know?
fashion changed and joggers are a thing now. Because I remember back using those escalators when you wore like Jinkos.
Yeah, you
You
watch
were
out for that
always
shit.
worried about that little tear getting stuck in that thing. Man, that's scary, dude.
Yeah, that was.
Did
That's
you guys
a
wear
legitimate
those?
concern.
I did, man. I rocked Jinkos for sure.
I remember I never had a pair.
If I could have afforded the real Jinkos, I would have got a pair.
You could afford
They
it.
had knockoff Jinkos.
No, I got like the Target brand,
Got you,
like
the flare.
yeah, like
Mhm.
boot cut. I think they were, but they would always specify like how many inches the bottom was, like fucking wheels or something.
Well, I've been traveling quite a bit. Just got back from Chicago, heading out to Louisville, Kentucky at the end of the week to shoot 2 music videos with Dusty Lee, Brandon Hart, and Demon Jones. And, of course, Brian Thomas is going to be there because Long Cut has a music video that we're dropping called Bump. And that's just one that's going to be on this next album. So, I mean, it looks like things are starting to move.
And you're wearing Jenkos in the video or what?
You should.
I wish, man. I wish I
Remember
had
how it had like a colored J or something
Yeah.
on the back pocket? That was
Oh, yeah,
the only
They're
like
thing.
the
always like-
clown, the embroidered clown.
big pockets.
Yeah,
Big, long pockets.
Dude, I wore Hollister and Abercrombie.
I know. I bet.
Look at
Yeah,
him,
I bet.
Judge fucking mental.
No, I definitely had my moment where I liked the Abercrombie. It was the flip flop game. I wasn't into the flip flop game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked. I don't know. It just I always felt like I just couldn't walk in. I always break on me.
Yeah.
They get crooked underneath my feet.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean. And
You got crooked ass feet.
and I'm an awkward person. Dude,
I always,
so like,
I got,
something like
I
that
always
happens.
wanted to enjoy flip flops, but I got flat fucking feet, and like I was always
He's like a
sensitive
platypus.
about it.
You ever seen a platypus?
Oh yeah,
Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
and I just do the slips.
Yeah.
Do you remember shandles? Is that a thing?
Nope.
Yeah, it is, dude.
like
it has to be.
shoes
Yes.
that
we
No, I'm
would-
saying no. I don't remember him.
We would take like a pair of Air Maxes and cut the back half off, and where you just slip right into them. We call them shandles. I think it's like
crafty.
a thing now, though.
That's
it?
crafty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is I wasn't cool enough for Jenkos.
You were in
now,
Hollister, bro.
Dude, I had
What do
like
you mean you weren't
I had
cool
like
enough?
Abercrombie polo
That's
shirts.
pretty cool, dude.
You had the cologne too, didn't you?
Yeah, dude.
The Michael Jordan cologne.
Oh,
that.
Abercrombie cologne.
Abercrombie.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had cologne.
Yeah, you
One-
ever
dude,
walk
once-
into their store, bro. Walk by their store. you'll
So
find
here's
some
a
of their
funny
cologne.
story. I actually worked
Well, my
at
girlfriend at the
Abercrombie for
time
about
worked
4
there.
days.
What? You definitely know they have a cologne
Now,
then.
well, it was before I joined the Marine Corps, and it's
Mine was during School of Infantry.
wow.
Yeah,
worked
I want to
there?
hear.
You've
yeah.
always been on the. You've always
Yeah.
been on the grind.
Were you like
Yeah.
the shirtless model standing
Well, I
there
moved to
when you walk
Burbank,
in?
California. I wanted to be a kid actor. This is before I dropped out of high school. I moved out there I took a 1997 Honda Shadow and a backpack, and I went out to Burbank, California, and I signed a contract with Acme Agency as an actor and a model.
That's
Well,
hilarious.
now in my mind, I'm going to start making money. Not true, right? So I had to get a job, and I don't know. I think that fashion was kind of popular back then.
Kind of.
It was huge,
Dude,
right?
if it was popular where I'm from in Denver,
Yeah, it was massive.
SoCal Abercrombie. Dude, I worked at the one in the San Diego Mall.
But I quit because
It
of
was
the
a big
sandal
deal.
game. I would show up, and I had to bring sandals in my backpack. I rode a motorcycle.
So they'd make you wear sandals there?
Yeah, and I
You had to
didn't
wear-
like
you had,
it.
you had to wear the part.
Interesting.
They had like so
yeah.
you had to wear certain jeans and certain
Yeah.
shirts and
And their
weeks.
shorts are real short.
Yeah,
And, and I'm cool about it now. I'm 35, but back when I was 16,
Yeah, it was
my,
weird.
my pants had a break below the
shorts,
kneecap.
dude. The shorts that kids wear nowadays that are cool. Not talking shit, right? Every decade has their style, whatever. But shorts were literally the worst possible thing that
For
we could
dudes.
do
Yeah.
when
And
we
E-
were your age.
And Eli can say that, bro, because Eli's got great quads.
no, not
Or like
then,
high
dude.
waters.
He's got a great ass and great
Yeah,
quads.
that's the thing now.
Dude, I got a pair of jeans that are high waters, and like I just keep rocking them. No one said that.
good as
I
fuck.
would have been called out 20 years
Yeah,
ago on
dude,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but we're dads. We don't give a fuck.
Man.
I just don't care no more.
But
you know?
short shorts, never, dude, never.
But I will rock some short shorts now.
Hell yeah,
Do you
You know?
really?
I would.
yeah,
Oh, you would.
I would. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
yeah. They're stylish.
Yeah.
Slash, don't give a fuck.
I don't know. I think back when I was 16 years old, you would never.
No, the
You know?
worst possible thing you
Yeah.
could do.
I mean, it's almost like my shoelaces caused me anxiety back then. You know what I mean? Like if my
Oh yeah, bro.
like I had to tuck them in or something. If they're
Yeah.
sticking off weird, it's like
Dude, you
throw
know,
off
remember
your
that too.
swag.
You know,
yeah.
what, you know what kids will never understand? Maybe. Tell me if you guys had the same problem. Short socks were not like easy to come by.
If it was
right?
that weird shortness.
Yeah, there's that weird
Ankle
shortness.
socks are the only ones that are allowed. Just
Yeah.
and
But-
you want to keep them below the ankle.
Of course.
Yeah.
I used if they were longer, I would fold them
Yes,
under.
that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah, like all the way
that's
to
what
your
people
toe.
don't understand.
Yeah.
We used to if you're like under maybe 25 listening to this, maybe under 30 for that matter. Shit.
Under 30 for sure.
If you're under
Yeah.
30 listening to this, we would have to take a full-on fucking tube sock, comes up mid-calf, and if you wanted short sock, you'd have to pull like a foot length of sock into your shoe and then fold it back over your foot and shove that uncomfortable fucking mess.
Undo your shoe.
Dude, yeah.
Slip your
But
foot in
dude-
right so it didn't get rolled up.
And if you let it go back over your foot too far, it would start covering your first couple little
And then
toes.
slipping off the
Yeah.
back of your heel.
And it's like, is that what a uncircumcised penis feels like in a condom?
Probably, but that's 2 podcasts in a row.
Uncomfortable.
We're talking about circumcision here.
I'm just wondering. I felt like my foot was
We're getting
uncircumcised.
an ongoing theme.
Dude, it would fuck your little toe. Every time.
It would. Now, you see no-show socks everywhere. I'll never fucking understand.
But now these high socks are coming back. They're wearing the middle ones where they don't go up to the calf. It's like
yeah. And you tuck in your
three-quarter.
shirts. Or shirts are tucked into their gym shorts now.
it's
Yeah.
like 22. Dude, 22 Jump Street was predicted the future.
Yeah,
Because 22
it's true.
Jump Street came out what 6 years ago.
yeah.
Wow.
I remember when like they went. He was like, he goes back to school. Remember, but like nobody's one strapping it. Like everyone's two strapping it.
Yep.
All
He
about the
punches a kid, and
environment.
it's like, no, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm not against that. I'm not saying you should be punching people,
It's changed a lot.
but it's just, I feel like some of that's there.
Now, I still, even though it's kind of an in thing, I still couldn't do the tube sock thing.
No.
I'm all ankle sock.
Yeah. All day.
You know, I still don't buy shorts like some of even the shorts that I buy off the rack, like a pair of Nikes. They're cut different
Yeah.
even now. It's
Mhm.
and so I don't even do that. It's like
We
I
gotta get you some first form shorts.
I got my
Yeah.
shorts, and those are my shorts, and
Yeah.
What
yeah.
size shorts do you wear? Large?
yeah,
I'll
but
get
they
you
got to
some.
be cut right. You know, down.
Oh, dude, the first form ones, because like Andy Frisella, Sal Frisella, they're big dudes, and they ain't wearing no bullshit.
Right.
And they threw us some gear when we were out there, and it's good. It's good fitted. I go back out there in March, and I'll
Well, like
grab you
even
some up.
shirts, you know, I like the shirts that are they call them the hipster cut or whatever, where it's long in the front, long in the back, even
But
because
it goes up around the hip. Yeah.
I don't. Shirts bother me, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
even like I'll buy something on a merch line, and you know people put it on,
Mm-hmm.
and they love it, and that's awesome. It's merch gear, but like for me to wear that on stage or something, try to rock that with some fashion, the way that it's cut, I feel so awkward.
So
in
you
it.
like the ones that are cut higher on the hip, right?
Yeah, I think
kinda cool.
yeah.
Lower front and back.
It's just more like
I do.
streetwear. I've seen a lot of that streetwear.
And just I don't know, it kind of just makes me feel comfortable, and if I'm feeling good, I perform good, and my clothes are a huge factor to that. You know, I like to be comfortable, and that's something I think that over time with long cut, we came out trying to do too much. You know, if you look back at some of our first videos, we got glasses and rags and you know jewelry and all this stuff.
Shit's fun, though,
flying. It is
you know?
fun, and you're just learning, but
Yeah.
you're so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, going to do a live show with 4 layers on because it looks cool. You're ripping them off after the second.
Do you see me?
Do I see you?
4 pairs of clothes don't even fit over me.
I bet not. No.
Dude, what
You
is
look good, homie.
what's
I
your
do all
what's
right.
your pre-concert ritual?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
Yeah, we always definitely have a shot of Fireball.
Okay.
That's something we've always done.
So you're in the green room fucking off for a while.
Getting
and
white girl wasted.
Yeah, man, we always have a shot of Fireball, and we always say, one down, a million to go.
Mm.
You know, just kind of letting you know that I don't know, man. It's getting in that element.
Sure.
Because
that alter ego, that whatever
for
whatever you
sure.
got to turn on to be on stage and do what you got to do.
Because there's a lot of different stuff that can happen. You know, I mean, it's very clutch in that moment. So you're kind of running through your lyrics. So say you're running through your lyrics, and all of a sudden you stumble on something, and you're in the back room. You're like, man, why can I not remember that verse?
Yep.
And I'll come up to Brian, and be like, hey, what's my verse on matchup?
Yep.
You know, and then you start psyching yourself out. And so those things can happen. You
Yeah,
got to dial that back real quick.
It's almost like going in for an interview.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is because
way
these people
higher.
haven't seen you yet.
Yeah.
And there's 700 people out there that are ready to judge you.
But remember, like back in school, like had to like memorize words for your spelling test.
Yeah. That's what it's like, man.
There.
And you also want to be genuine about your delivery.
Yeah.
You don't want
Yeah.
it to seem like you're
Like
trying
it's
to
not seamless. It's got to flow.
it has to flow. And Demons told me several times, like, relax and go out there and know you know that you're you're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Take some
those
beta
type
blockers.
those type of conversations that you have are important.
Yeah.
And there's many times I've come up to Brian asking him like, hey, we're here for a reason. We're here for, and just because you'll psych yourself out and you have to dial that back. And then you get into some shows and you're vibing so good and the night flies by and they're like, long cut, you're up. You're on stage and off stage before you
Just
know
all
it.
good.
And everything went
Yep.
well.
Yep,
No
yep.
sound problems. The merch table has a line out the yin yang and the night went great.
Yeah.
And it's,
That's why when you said that one down million to go, that stood out to me. And what I thought about when you said that is kind of what you referenced right there. Like, hey, this is just another fucking day. Like, it's important.
it's what we
right?
do.
It's what we do, but it's another day. Don't put too much on it, but don't take too much away from it, and not give it the attention that it deserves.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. And like before Kobe Bryant passed away, rest in peace, right? Terrible.
Yeah.
He had they had lost in the finals or something like that, and it wasn't the final. I think it was the playoffs for the finals, but it was where it was back in his career when he was younger, and he had like so many air balls, like 4 air balls in a row, and he was talking about how like every shot was straight. It was just short, and I could start telling it toward the end of the season, like, like my legs just weren't conditioned. I wasn't getting up off the floor, especially later in the season. Like I was fatigued. My body wasn't ready for that long of a season, and so the very next day he starts getting to work on recovery, build his legs, starts hitting the gym, so he's more prepared for the next season. And people kept one of the interviewers was kept asking him how he felt and how this and how that and how was this? I can't remember how it was phrased, but the bottom line was, at his level, dude, he was like, this isn't about me. I'm not that big of a deal. I just got to get back out there and make sure that I go perform and we win titles and certain things. But I can't remember the context. If someone can find the video, send it to me, or I'll find it. We'll talk about it next time. But it was interesting how a guy that famous at that level is you're not. I think they were asking why you don't feel bad, or did you feel bad? And he's like, they're like, how? All people are saying this, and it's just you're not that big of a deal.
Right.
You got fucking teammates, you got everybody else, and it's I don't matter. I just got to go back out and do what I got to do, and you hear something like that from a guy that was that iconic. You're just damn, But it's also a little liberating of us. Yeah, man, take a breath. Fucking get back to work and do your thing, man.
That is true, man. It is so easy to just put all this fucking weight on yourself and think that, man, everything does rely on you and everything is oh fuck, this one shot at life and blah blah blah. And it's yeah, a lot of that's true, and show up, do your fucking best and all that stuff. But at the same time,
you don't matter.
Hey, yeah.
Well, patience has been a good tool for me to use, and it's been reminded to me constantly, almost weekly, from Raw Records. Be patient. We have content, and situation is dictating our strategy. But as an artist, you want to put out music so much, and you want to be on tour so bad that maybe this is a moment for Long Cut and for myself and everybody to be patient, be silent for once, and be present in what matters. Live it on the tip of your nose. And that's something my grandpa told me growing up so many times. I'd call my grandpa, ask him some serious advice. I mean, this is back even when we were serving. There was times when you showed up to division schools for the first time, and it really frustrated me. I called my grandpa and asked him, what do I do with this guy?
You fucking told your grandpa me?
What do I do with this guy? And he told me, Justin, live at the tip of your nose.
Yeah.
And I never could put that together. Why?
Problem was I got in his face.
So
I was in his nose, picking his nose.
break that down. How do you break that down for you?
I think finally
It's similar to be where your feet are.
Right, 100%. It is exactly
Just right
that.
here, right in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't put that together until about this last year, and it's made me make decisions for the right reasons rather than trying to make decisions on this tactical chess move that I have no way of controlling.
Just allowing outside factors like control or have way too much influence on how you make decisions, versus and just being in those moments of man, we all want to conquer the world and,
exactly.
we're figuring it all out. But at the same time, while you're figuring, cool, you brainstorm and you figure out what you're going to do. But then wherever you're at in your day, like if we got real estate goals, cool. But right now my feet are on a podcast. So be present and be on the podcast. And then when it's time to be, compartmentalize and be back into real estate, and your feet are in real estate, your feet are with the client, be with the client. So it's like
And
you
that's
have
where-
this map, this roadmap.
And that's where I can feel my growth is exactly what you're saying.
Compartmentalizing.
Be here at that podcast. And like after this podcast, I'm going to go be with my family. And then tomorrow I'm going to be in the studio and not being here thinking about the studio or where, because that's when I start getting that fog. And I'm just a piece of flesh existing. I'm not processing, I'm not engaging, and I'm not taking anything out of it. And that's what this last year has taught me so much. And so I'm excited to get back on tour because I believe the last couple of tours we went on, it's like I didn't take those in. I was just there as a robot doing my job and not taking advantage of like absorbing that experience. And so I'm excited to be back on tour again to really make that contact with the fans more important, make the times we have on the bus that we're laughing, be there, because I could see myself always kind of separating. I would go back into my bunk, and and that's just kind of maybe my personality, but that's some things that I'm really exposing myself and going, hey man, don't run away, be present, engage, and gain something from the day.
Like right now, running away from you telling your grandpa and me.
I had to, dog.
We just deflect. What?
Shit. Okay,
I think we talked about this on the last.
Everyone knows me.
I didn't hear about the grandpa
I'm
story.
a fucking teddy bear. What could I have possibly done?
I want to hear that conversation with
you had to go to your grandpa and go, hey, I'm about to kill this dude.
No, man. Will shows up to division schools, and Will's an outstanding person in everything he does. I mean, you're very talented, and so he shows up with a lot of confidence, and so I'm not used to that because I have a lot of instructors.
And to JT's credit, I also showed up with maybe a little bit too much ambition of like throwing ideas in without asking permission or just letting guys see how I operated, because they were division schools when we were there was very prideful. You weren't there to fuck off. You were there to train Marines, and Marines are deploying, and this is all at a leadership level. You were training leaders to go back to their Marines so they could lead Marines. It was almost like even more important at a leadership level. So for me, like, to your defense, you're making me sound super awesome, and I appreciate that.
Well, you were.
But my intentions were good.
Well, that's
but
the
my
thing.
conduct, as far as like, I wasn't like an asshole to anybody, but when you go in there with a lot of ambition and even though your intent is good, like you've got to know when it's time for you to be a lead instructor and just volunteer ideas versus like, hey man, right now you just got here. We just need you to be a part of the fight. We just need you to be a guy that's a part of the team where, hey, you're a slot receiver right now. I just need you to run your play and do real good at it. And then, hey, as we see your ability, you can become a captain in certain things. But right now, we need you to be a team player. And I came in with like I'm Julian Edelman from the Patriots going to Miami. Oh, I got all these plays. And it's like, hey.
Yeah.
Look, dude, you don't even know whether, like, you don't know our scheme and maneuver. Yeah. You got to come here and just with the right intention. And, I mean, I've learned how to do that a lot more over time. But JT's and I's friction, it was more so of that. But I appreciate you making me sound
Well, I think the thing was is that I got intimidated because this was my instructor group, you know? And this happened not only this time, but many other times throughout my journey here where I had to not sip on that haterade and understand how to use a guy like Will to make the course better, because it's not about me, it's about the course. And that was that phone call with my grandpa and saying, well, you know, living at your tip of your nose, instead of thinking what maybe could happen if I allow Will, you know, it's like work with him. And Division Schools became the #1 school on Camp Pendleton because of that.
That's cool.
And so that has been something that I've witnessed throughout my experiences, and I can see that growth in myself is that I stopped sipping on that haterade. There's so much beef and hostility right now just in the music industry amongst artists. And it's
I don't even know if you were
ridiculous.
hating on me, though, just to give you credit. It's almost like as we've gotten older, we're just a little bit more wise to try to be open-minded to someone's intent.
Exactly.
Because intent is, man, it's huge. It matters. And when you can, like when we start looking at young bucks, you know, in their 20s and 19, 18, and we're watching what they're doing, you can dissect, especially if you've been in their footsteps. Man, you could read someone really well because of that experience and that wisdom, and you're a lot more open-minded and just cognizant of someone's intent versus back then when you and I were first meeting. It's the blind leading the blind for when it comes to emotions. You just feel me rubbing off on you, which makes you rub off on me. And like, we didn't have enough maturity to really, we're both very prideful, both best of intent. we just didn't realize we had never been coached on like how to even dissect intent. We just felt someone rubbing up against
Like
us.
Pito said, young and dumb.
Bro, rest in peace, Pito. That fucking guy, so important, man. Like, you and I had butted heads, or no, what's the? But who was shaking my fucking pills?
Man, I remember
dude, I was
everybody
a
giving you a
supplement
hard
guy.
time about
So
your
funny.
Except for
trays.
Johnson, because he was a meathead.
Yeah.
And those
He's
guys
a
were working
firefighter
out.
still, I think.
Yeah, he loves hoses, man. He's loved hoses since division schools. He's loved playing with those things. Shout out to Johnson. But I was a supplement dude. Some of us were like really into the gym and staying in shape and just being crazy about it. Supplements were popping off, so we were taking some of those. And I can't remember, man, if it was Pac, rest in peace, fucking Pac, dude. Like,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of
That's
guys gone,
sad.
man. Like, it's super sad. But somebody was shaking him. It was, dude, I was so pissed. And it was like, what's the big deal? And I was like, dude, it's so funny because it's like, it's the principle. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, God, there's $30. Who cares? It's like, dude, you're damaging my fucking property. I take those pills every day, right? I'm trying to get chicks. I'm shredded. You're fucking hating on me right
You're
now.
shaking my hydroxy
and
cut.
it's like, hey, you're being funny and like you're getting a rise out of me. Cool. But like at some point, you shake them so hard, you start breaking the
What was
capsules.
the context
inside.
of the shaking?
They're fucking Marines, bro. Like I left it on the
I think it
I
was
left it on the
Victor
desk.
Guardiola.
I don't think it was Guardiola. Guardiola
I could
was
see
laughing.
Guardiola
no,
doing
it
some
wasn't.
stuff like
no,
that.
Guardiola was fucking laughing his ass off, but he never damaged my shit. Guardiola secretly was always in my corner, man.
Big shout out to Victor down in Dallas, dog.
Dude, he's a
holding
good-
it down still in the police department.
He's a good guy. I'm pretty sure it was Pac. And it was just, dude, you leave shit like, okay, see my hat?
Yeah.
I leave it there unattended. Someone's pissing on it. I don't know, just because Marines are fucking assholes.
Yeah.
But he was shaking them, and yeah, man, I don't even know why I just brought that up,
That's
but
so
like,
funny, dude.
it was just the principle of it, you know.
It's a good story.
Division
It's like,
schools was a
fuck.
cool place to be because we were leaders, training leaders,
Yep.
and we were also leading each other in a peer situation, and that's challenging. And I think that's what the beef is going on right now in the music industry, is that everybody is at this level of grind and grit trying to get to where they need to be, that they feel like they need to turn around and piss on somebody else to get up in the game. And Long Cut's been just sitting back observing some of this.
Yeah.
And it's
like everyone's kind of out for themselves kind of thing.
and it's Raw Records again. I just compliment the leadership that we
Oh,
have.
I'm sorry. I'm cutting you off.
Go ahead,
Pedo.
Pedo.
So I get those pills shaken, right?
Jesus.
And I gotta finish the story with even people.
Oh my
hey,
God.
fuck you
That's
two. People
hilarious.
that are here for me, the two people out of the 30,000 downloads we get that are here for
shit.
me. I need to make do.
Finish it up, dog.
So I remember that just frustrated me. I snatched my pills. It was fine. They were fine, whatever, right? But it was like the principle of it. And I was just like willing to fucking fight over shit like that. Because I'm thinking like, hey, dude, it's not that cost me $30. It's the principle that that's my shit, and you think you can just shake my shit. I'm gonna shake you, right? And we're going to a summer range, and Pito was fucking laughing, and I love Pito. And I was like, dude, and he's like, I get it. He's like, hey, come on, I'm grabbing gas on the way. Let's grab a Red Bull and then hit the range. And I get in this car, man. We're in a Korn, Coming Undone was on. He plays that shit loud, drives fucking fast, and I was still talking about it. And he's like, Grimes, you're still too young, dumb, and full of cum to ever quit in anything, man. And he's like, it's what's great about you, but hey, all good.
And now I finally understand what I guess Pito was saying to you,
Yeah.
because we're at that age that Pito was. I mean, he was an older OG of the crew. We're in our mid 20s, and he's like 31, 32. And
Did you feel like that like pause before you started talking when I silenced? Like, did you feel the weight of that pause?
It's heavy.
Feel it? Just, and you know what it's reminiscent of like, we had a leadership course in real estate, and it's called FitWorks. And we were mentors, took people through like a year-long mentor course, and one assignment they had was to write their own eulogy as far as like what you wanted people to say about you when you were gone. You know, like mine was just like, I just wanted to be a moment.
Right.
And like I brought up Pito. We're talking about Pito, and they're like, there's like this little pause. And it feels a little heavier, and then you start talking, and it's like that weight I feel is like a moment. You know, it's like, man, it's fucking cool to just share guys that aren't here anymore, you know, and just talk about them. It's like, fuck, man, like everything we're trying to accomplish in life, I fucking hope we do. And I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. But god damn, I hope I'm a moment like that for someone where guys are just drinking beers or just hanging back and doing their thing, and they're like, fucking Grimes, you remember, like, you know? And it was just like half-second pause where everyone's kind of thinking of you, like, it's fucking cool, you know?
He's a cool guy.
Super
And
cool.
he impacted everybody in individual ways. because
One
he
word
had-
at a time.
Yeah, he had that
Dude didn't
knowledge.
talk much.
No, he really didn't. He gambled.
Did he?
Yeah, man, he put money on
Online on, like, sports and shit, right?
on horses.
Oh,
He was
shit.
a horse
No
race. Yeah,
shit.
he'd come back to. Sometimes he had big losses, but I remember walking in there a few times, $14,000 up.
Damn.
Betting on horses.
That's how it
racing.
happens, man. You win big one time, dude.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah, well, and that's where I guess now it's like I'm saying, at 35, letting things go is a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you
know?
understand why.
Yeah.
You just know how to pick your battles and where to put energy.
And
you
stay
just-
focused on your true north.
when you let go, I think you're able to let that your true north, but I think you also just a little bit more understanding of others. Like we were talking about somebody before this podcast, you know, and like a lot of that conversation I was sharing with you guys was like just benefit of doubt that someone wasn't being a certain way, wasn't being malicious, wasn't trying to do anything, was more just doing what they feel they have to do. And like the entire conversation wasn't anger. What the fuck? You know, it was more of like benefit of doubt and understanding and trying to put yourself in that person's shoes and just why it has to be that way. And there's just a little bit more understanding of people, which when you try to be that way or when you are that way, it's a little bit more just easier to forgive or forget or just or not even forgive and forget or move on, just not even make it something that it doesn't have to be until it is something. But like don't make it something it's not.
Yeah.
If it turns into something, cross that bridge when you get there.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't turn it into something based off of hypotheticals or anger and you're starting to fuel something when in reality just try to give people benefit of doubt that they're doing the best they can for themselves and just move forward.
And more often that is the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really is. And doing shit like that, like just at a selfish level, it just makes you feel fucking better. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. Like, man, I can just drop this, not worry about this outcome. And hey, what's going to happen is going to happen.
I always think that there's a problem for some reason.
Yeah.
I do. I read body language pretty well.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and
what
then
am I saying?
yeah, you're flexing on me. But I read body language really well, and then if that communication line is not, you know, open, and
Yeah.
I say open loosely because it might be open.
Yep.
Yeah, you're just not.
You know,
That's what's hard for
Sensing
me.
it.
I'm
or
just not
something.
paying attention. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
good or bad, indifferent. Like I just communications and just understandings and like moving in the same direction and letting people know why. Yeah, man. Because if someone doesn't let me know why, it just kind of picks at me a little bit, you know. Because I feel like I would do that for you.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't that be given to me?
Yeah.
But then that's also, you know, with the hypothetical that person understands or sees it the same way you do versus like maybe they think they are doing the right
And
thing
dude,
to
it's
do.
just so much better. Not that I have like a pessimistic outlook on people, but literally just having no expectations from anyone for anything. And then when someone does communicate well with you, it's this pleasant like, oh, hey, I appreciate you communicating that with me. You know, that's what I would have done. And I appreciate it.
But if you know someone and care for them and like have had a decent relationship with them, like
Yeah.
there almost is like this subconscious like expectation.
There
that
is,
would be.
yeah. And
so when it
that's-
doesn't, it kind of
yeah.
bums you out.
It for sure it does. Yeah. But that's where it's like, man, just like again, I'm almost pessimistic view, like outlook just on people in general.
Oh, he is,
Which
bro.
which maybe gives me the like low expectations
It's like
of
his,
people.
It's like his Jewish side.
But it's net positive. It really is net positive because then when
Well,
someone does do something
COVID-19,
well,
I mean, I think that it put a lot of people in situations that limited the communication. You know,
everything, dude.
man, I mean, I know it for a fact. It shut me down 90 days plus. Where
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Well, no,
it affected different.
'Cause I think it
Everybody
opened up
differently.
community. Like people were Zooming and FaceTiming with their families. Like, man, you normally wouldn't even talk to your mom for like 6 weeks, but now that everyone's locked down, they're FaceTiming their parents or their cousins, or they're Zooming and like
you
sharing.
saw a lot of that.
They got a laptop on the dinner table,
Yeah.
Well,
and
for
they're like
guys
sharing
like
dinner
us,
with their people. So it's almost like it enhanced communication.
It
for
was
some
an
people.
uppercut for us, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah,
it
true.
was a huge uppercut,
Yeah.
and we weren't ready for me to be in Colorado, Brian to be in North Carolina, Demon to be in Georgia, and all the fans to be in their homes, and we're so reliant on being together, moving, and going to a venue with hundreds and hundreds of people there. And so for us, we had to find new ways to communicate, and it took some time because of that uppercut. I mean, it was so hard to swallow that we're not going on tour. And for you to kind of keep your chin up on that was challenging. And it was really hard not to start pointing the finger, right? And saying, I mean, there was nothing you could do.
No.
There's no
It was
opinion
so-
that-
it was so
big.
confusing.
Yeah, so big, so confusing. Like, who do you point the finger at?
Right.
The world or
Exactly.
China or
But
the
you want to
president?
scream and yell, but all
Yeah.
you're doing is creating bad vibes and pissing off this guy and pissing off this guy and creating an environment that nothing's going to get done. And
Well,
that's
for
what
the
kind of
first
happened.
time, the entire world was trying to figure it out in real time.
Yeah.
dude.
And no one could do shit.
Nothing.
Yeah, no one could do shit. Man, nothing. You brought up patience earlier. Nothing will teach you patience when, like, until you're forced to be in a situation where you've got no other fucking option but to be patient. You know, and it's like every like inside of you, you're just like, oh, I want to go, 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 go. Especially probably as an artist, when you feel like these songs are fleeting. Like maybe you're inspired at the moment, you have these things, but man, I have this now. I don't know if I'll have this same song a year from now, whenever this shit's over.
Yeah.
Well, I got into plants. Yep, house plants.
Oh,
and
shit.
that really,
I love how he's able to just like
yeah. Well,
transition
with-
topics like that.
I'm trying to figure like, hey,
The-
you
the
mean your
patience
you mean your
side.
grow or like
no, man, like the normal house plants, and it was something to give. It gave me something to do to see results, but really exercise patience and consistency, and it turned into 3 to 13 to 30. Now I have maybe like 100 plants
bro.
in my studio, just in one room. It's like the
Yeah.
plant room, and man, it
you
has
got cats?
nope, no cats, just
You
plants.
still talk to your
My brain went where your brain went,
yeah, you're the cat lady.
but with plants.
Man, I
Does
like
your wife still talk to you?
Yeah, man,
Everyone
it's
still-
a big family thing. I mean,
No.
we water the
Yeah.
plants, we propagate them, and
I'm
and-
just busting your balls.
and dude, it's
Yeah.
fun, man.
Yeah.
I thought about bringing y'all one here, but I was like, no.
Man,
Dude,
I'm
I
so
would
glad you
love a
didn't.
plant
Yeah.
here, dude. I would
You
love
would?
a plant. Fuck yeah,
All right,
dude.
I'm gonna get you a
shit.
plant, dude.
Yeah, we're in a basement. We need some fucking life down here, man.
I think
Hey,
it was
hey.
it was fun
What
because
am I here for?
I didn't
No,
have to leave the
yeah.
house. You know, you could. It was a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that provided like a relaxing state.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that I did in COVID a lot.
Yeah.
Was like meditate, spend a lot of time just kind of my headphones on, good music, and doing something like plants or creating something with my kids that I never do.
Yeah.
COVID provided that for me, but it also took away a lot of things. But then I start looking at it from the outside in now. After a year's gone by, it's like, did I lose or did I gain?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like I said outside, COVID's been my best year, I guess, because I've gained so much in a way that I never thought that I would gain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I feel like the songs post COVID coming out, like Let It Plant, Water
It's
Up,
gonna be.
Soil.
It-
They're gonna be bangers.
Soul.
It is.
Soil.
The,
you got to say it like that though, soul.
They're gonna be, they're gonna be bangers.
It's funny, dude. It's funny you say that because there was I used to be super, super impatient, very patient now on most things. Like built intentionally tried like, okay, fucking chili, like you need to build this skill set. Growing weed way back in the day taught me patience like a motherfucker, dude. I was so impatient before that, so impulsive, so impatient. And when you brought up plants, I was like, that's hilarious because when you're talking before, I was thinking in my head, that's where I learned it. And there were the first 2-3 crops, man, like I fucked up completely because doing too much fucking research, fucking with too much shit,
Yeah.
not just letting the plants
Do
be
their thing.
plants. And
Right.
it's like and with yours, I'm sure, you fuck with them too much,
Yeah.
you're going to hurt them.
You can overwater.
You can, dude. And I
Yeah.
remember like when I finally got like a first successful crop was the one I fucked with the least.
Yep.
Did what I was supposed to do, but then just let it fucking chill. And I was like, that's a really like you're holding something too tight. You're trying to love something too much. You're trying to just too fucking like this on something.
Manic on it almost.
Yeah,
You know? And
you
that's
kill
where
it.
it really corrected. I wouldn't say corrected, but added a positive influence to my manic state because I'm very manic.
Mhm.
And I'll go 3 days in the studio and not eat,
Yeah, yeah.
not shower. My
Yeah.
wife has to come down and say, "Hey, turn all this off."
Damn.
You know.
Yeah.
But I've created something great.
Mm-hmm.
That's and we had an EP get written in 3 days because of that. And so it's definitely something that is benefiting right then and there. But the longevity of that, it catches up to me.
You want to use it like a tool. You don't
Yeah.
want this like
Well, there's no balance.
yeah.
And having the plants and going in there and watching how less was more.
Yeah.
That was cool, you know, and I started implementing that into my relationship where I don't have to try to solve every problem.
Yep.
I don't have to have a solution for everything, and that's where it was causing conflict between my wife and I because she couldn't even just come upstairs and sit down and be quiet. I'm thinking, what's wrong?
So if she's telling you about her day or something, you're like trying to solve problems.
Trying to solve it for her, and and I'm watering it too much.
Yeah.
Overwatered. I just let her do her thing, let her be who she was gonna be, let the plant do its thing, let the music just happen.
Yep.
My kids. I have a 13-year-old now. I gotta allow her to be 13. I can't live that for her and start setting these walls up, or she's gonna have root rot, and she's not gonna have a foundation of her own.
Yep.
I feel like I'm getting high just listening to you guys.
Smoke it.
Golly.
Oh shit.
Very insightful though.
It was so
It's
true, dude. I remember like just going through that phase and like coming out of it, and it was like blatant, like just how much of a dramatic change. It's just this visual thing. We put so much work into something, and it's a 3-month process. It's not short by any means.
Yeah.
And you loved it too much, and you fucked it all up.
Yeah.
It's
Good
yeah,
initiative,
it's a good
bad
lesson.
judgment.
Yeah. And it's
You like that? Some Marine Corps shit.
That was a good rip of that pen I just had.
Jesus Christ.
those things can hit, man.
Man, that's the thing too. You can adjust this one on the bottom,
Oh shit.
the different voltage, I guess.
I'm so glad. Can you imagine if they had that when we were like in high school? For the record, I didn't like smoke or anything in high school.
What I
Not
have
that it
now-
matters, but
What I have now in
Does
my
matter.
house is called a Puffco Pro,
okay.
and it's about the size of this Bluetooth speaker,
Okay.
and it's like a little electronic incubator.
Hmm.
It's changed the world.
So
What
you
do you
like
do?
you humidify?
Yeah, you
the
just
air
hit you
with
just hit the
marijuana?
button twice. It heats it up. And you
Actual flower?
no dab.
Oh, really?
Oh, hell
yeah,
no.
yeah.
I know.
Hell
It's
no.
changed the game, dude.
Do you know how much cocaine you need to come down from dab?
Really?
That sounds like a really funny tweet or
Jesus
something.
criminy.
Do you know how much
Ooh.
cocaine you need to come down from dab?
Dude, speaking of vape pen, right? Like, I meet Eli. This is the second time I smoked weed. No, the first time. Right?
You were there
Don't
for his
fucking
first
be all-
time.
Well, his first new time.
Dude, I smoked a couple times sophomore in high school, farting around. It was mildly interesting. But then Eli,
I think
like
this was the first time.
this is
time.
the first time. That
With
looked,
us,
I
with me.
hadn't seen weed in 20 years, and
and this
he's
was,
got a vape
This
pen.
was bad move on Eli.
Super bad. We're getting ready to go to a charity event
It was a gala,
That's-
to
it
be
was a gala.
specific.
at Centennial Airport with Ferraris and Lambos and,
Yeah.
and Global Expresses and
Work
everybody.
peers there.
He gives me his pen. I hit it. Well, I don't know that I'm hitting it. It just didn't hit like
Right.
like a blunt or something. Like it was kind of like nothing, but it vibrated. So I just like kept hitting it, dude. I was on another planet at this gala. We were on the red carpet, and I'm just, dude, aliens.
So what does it
everywhere.
do to you?
Well, I'll tell you. I took everything literal. One, I couldn't remember where I was at.
Don't go too literal.
He had a joke. He was like, "Haha, wouldn't it be funny if like
Yeah.
we took some candy?" But one of those like there's like 5 of us dudes hanging out.
Made a stupid joke. We'll put
It
it
was a
at that.
stupid look.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's a stupid joke.
I know it's the R word.
We're sitting around or standing around a table, and it's like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if like we just took random Skittles? But one of those Skittles was like drug someone up, and like whoever got drugged up, all the dudes like smash you. Just being stupid, right?
This was all men at the table, by the way.
I'm half in and half out of consciousness. Seriously, like people were talking to me, I'd be blank.
This was your idea?
Terrible idea.
His idea.
God.
So I'm at this
Terrible.
gala doing that, right? And I'm a bigger guy, so like if I get nervous, dude, it's just not a good day because nobody's holding me down, right? He says that joke, everyone's like ha 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 ha, and I was just kind of just remember looking at him like. But then a couple minutes later, dudes want to like go to the bathroom, and I was like, this guy was like, hey, you want to go to the bathroom? And I'm thinking like, they put that fucking pill in my drink. I'm the fucking guy. They're gonna get me in the bathroom. I yelled at this guy. I was like, no, I don't need to go to the fucking bathroom, dude. I was like angry about it. Dude's like, Dad, whatever. It goes to his fucking it was just so, dude, we would go from table to table saying hi to people. I would not remember the walk to the table. We'd be at a table standing there, and I would like look back and go, Eli, how long we been standing here? I was like, dude, like 20 minutes. I was just gone. It was just interesting. Like, it just didn't affect me very I don't know what type of, like, crap he gave me.
It's the environment, bro. Telling you. The environment was
Well,
fucked.
that's how
You
it
see
is
how he
on.
doesn't have any ownership of anything?
That's what. No, it's just I know what I'm talking
Well,
about. With
I
that
also
shit.
know that the
I-
environment is big on like the hallucinogenics.
everything, man, everything. Environment's big in general. We're just more sensitive to it
Yeah.
when we're under the influence of things like that. Yeah,
It was just not good.
the
Well,
people.
marijuana has changed my life. Marijuana helped me identify the individual that I wanted to be.
Marijuana allowed me to know you're okay. All on your own. there, buddy. Your strings are tight.
It's not.
Perfect.
It's
You don't
not
need
for
any
everybody.
interpretation.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
seriously. It's,
Yeah.
it's
When I
not
got out of the
not.
Marine Corps, the first time I smoked marijuana was on a horseback ride up in Estes Park, and man, it did. It changed my life.
Yeah.
I felt something that I haven't felt. I actually felt something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I stayed committed to it. I did some research. I talked to my family about it. It was something that I never got involved with the overall, if your standard perception of it, you know.
Yeah.
I
You didn't
was
get roped into it by high school by
Right.
stupid buddies that were
no,
just trying to get high.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
this is I'm
And back in those days, he was more of a high-strung dude, kind of like me, just a go-getter. Dude was just knew everybody in SoCal,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like selling shirts out of the back of his fucking trunk,
constantly grinding.
just making money.
Hustling
And
and
just-
shit,
yeah, he was
yeah.
more. He wasn't the hey, smoke weed, it'll calm you down. He
I was
was.
completely against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I mean,
Bro, you guys were both straight edge in your
Yeah.
own way. Like if you
Huh?
see him from like young 20s,
Yeah, I didn't do shit.
bald,
like,
super fit, like read every Bible, all of them.
No,
All of 'em.
No.
Oh yeah, super
Yeah.
straight edge.
well, it dulled my edge a little bit, I guess you would
Yeah.
say, for me to resharpen it into being the individual that's what I had trouble with, is getting out of the Marine Corps was such a spontaneous decision. It was something I've always had in the back of my head, but the expectations because of success were like, hey, you're a lifer. Remember that term?
Oh, yeah.
You're a lifer. And so I didn't want to let those Marines down that sit there and tell you you're a lifer, but deep down inside, that wasn't what I wanted to do forever.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so here I am on the back of this horse. I'm smoking, and I stayed committed to smoking every day. And before I knew it, I started becoming my own person and having my own thoughts and being creative and putting out music without really caring about, what someone's going to think. The Marine
Just putting
Corps,
out music in general, because I'm sure that was scary, bro.
well,
'cause
the
you were-
Marine Corps is very judgmental.
Come
Extremely.
on, really?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not
No, not those guys shaking your
Absolutely, man,
fucking
you know how
pills
it is.
and throwing shit.
Well, that's the hardest thing was I was so paranoid about being judged a certain
Yeah.
way or not being held or let someone down, right? But marijuana cut that back for me, and it still works today when it comes to going live on a video. I don't overthink it. I get on there and have a good time.
Well,
allowed
dude,
you
you
to
were
step
up in, like
outside.
most people don't know, like, man, you started playing guitar more. You were singing country music, like you were kind of doing that thing. But then you got back to your roots of just like rap.
Well,
And you
it,
kinda
it allowed
turned
me
into
to
it.
take those risks and
Yeah.
jump without a guaranteed parachute, if you would say. I mean, I put out a country album. I was playing all over Colorado and the Midwest with a country band.
You remember when
shit.
Garth Brooks became like Chaz or something like that? What was Garth Brooks' alter
I
ego?
think he was like a metal guy, wasn't
Dude, look at no,
What?
hell no. Oh, bro,
he? I remember seeing a photo with his hair all kind of emoed out.
emo
Chaz?
AF. It's not Chaz. Just go to Garth Brooks' alter ego. Oh, dude, it's awesome. If you're listening right now,
And
go
it's
look
really,
at it.
it's like a close up.
Chris
That's him right there.
Gaines.
Chris
Chris
Gaines.
Gaines.
Oh my god.
But dude, his wife says that was his best album, one of his best albums.
Chris Gaines.
I heard
look
the
at
music.
Him. Look
Well,
at his,
they were gonna make like a movie out of it.
look
So
at
he
his
was like,
fucking soul patch right
he
there.
was coming
man.
into like
That's
character.
Garth Brooks. I can't believe that.
But then they never made the movie, so it just looks stupid because it's like they ain't no movie. You were just being.
He looks like
weird.
Chris Angel.
He does, doesn't
He
he?
looks like Chris Angel's gayer
I think,
brother.
I think, and it was around the time Chris Angel was a big deal. So if you look up like Chris Angel Prime, and then you look up Chris Gaines, is like same
I was
year.
so let down when they
Chris
started
Gaines.
exposing Chris Angel, like all of his stunts and his tricks. I
Yeah.
believe in magic. I do. I believe that he survived that
like, fuck.
Yeah.
building fall,
Yep.
But
Dude,
when they
that was
started
imp-
showing behind the scenes stuff, it was almost like when I was told that WWF wasn't real or something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
What
what?
a bad day,
When I found out Blair Witch wasn't real,
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck?
dude. Blair Witch will freak you out,
I know.
Blair Witch will give you motion sickness
Yeah.
in
It
30
will.
seconds, man.
but
I can't watch it.
it'll also freak you out.
It's a scary movie.
Yeah.
And they had that whole documentary on it. Like,
Yeah.
there was a whole
Or like the
documentary.
paranormalist.
Yeah, well, like
state.
before the movie came out, there was all this hype, and it was like interviews with the townspeople and all
Right.
this shit. Like, it was a whole real fucking
They
thing.
did it right, man.
They
That
did.
goes right to hits aren't made, they're marketed.
That was like guerrilla marketing at the very beginning.
dude.
Like, you see it all the time now. That was like
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah, but like for you, man, like so weed, and that was just that's 100% credit to you just learning how to get comfortable with yourself and do your own thing, or
Well, that's why I say it's a medicine.
yeah,
Now, I think it absolutely can be abused, just like water. You know, you can drink
No.
too much.
only when you're
you
on
know?
ecstasy.
Right.
You can't drink too much sober.
But a lot of people say it might be a gateway. I think that's a personality thing. You know,
Mhm.
that's how I look at it. It has never been a gateway for me to any other solution to whatever, because I don't believe that I have a problem that can't be fixed with other medication.
I think the gateway
you know?
part happens, man, when kids are just too young messing with stuff,
Maybe, yeah.
and you're not using it for like how you're using it, how Eli uses it, way different than like what I saw like when I was as a police officer, and you're in certain neighborhoods and you watch abuse, and sometimes it comes down from parents, and like you don't even have enough in your young brain to understand that tool. You're just using it for an escape or because it feels good, and like I do see how things just can.
Or doing it because
Be
of the
abused.
culture.
Yeah, that, and then like it just turn, but then you start searching for the next side, or because it's maybe you're not even searching. But here's what I've seen a lot when I was an officer: kiddos got introduced to other stuff, and it's like
Dude.
once you became okay with weed, someone else brings up some heroin or or crack to you. Well, you're already okay with drugs, and someone's like, then the person you're smoking weed with tries it. He's like, oh yeah, dude, try this.
yep.
Now you're already okay to like try it. Before you know it, you've become addicted to something way stronger than you realize it was, and it's just got you by the fucking
Dude,
throat.
that's what that was one of the big proponents to like legalizing weed and having a place to go fucking buy it. Because prior to that, guess who
The man on the block.
the guy you're buying the weed from is a guy that has the pills.
And
is a
what's
guy
it
that
laced
has-
with? He's got it. Yeah, and that dude's probably got everything versus like going and just getting some education on it, having to be a certain age. And
Yeah.
Well, it falls back on the environment. The environment that I was in Estes Park, in the mountains. You know, I was riding a horse every day.
there's this Brokeback Ranch.
No, it was Ranahan Ranch, you asshole.
I'm pretty sure it was Brokeback Ranch. No,
No,
Ranahan?
brother.
Where-
No,
where am I
that's a
thinking-
movie, dog.
Brokeback.
That's the movie with the two gay cowboys up in like Wyoming or something.
Man, when you said you put an album out, I thought it was that. No,
No, the album was called The Tailgate Rockstar.
same thing.
There you
Okay,
go.
yeah,
There you
I
go.
agree that it's
I'm
pretty
fucking
close.
with-
I look back at that album and I still laugh.
I'm
Just
not-
sometimes it's cringy.
You know, Will and I, we did that for Halloween one year.
Are y'all dressed up like that?
We were the
Bro.
Cowboys.
Yo,
Dude,
Listen, dude, it was
we-
so good.
We took a
/ bad.
picture. We took a picture like the movie cover where he's like
Bro.
embracing him from
Yeah.
behind. We have that somewhere.
Why
I
was
got
that
it.
not posted on social media?
because it was too good.
I
It
don't
was,
think
it's
my
too
wife would
good.
let me. Yeah.
dude, it was disturbingly good. Like, hey, why? I'm gonna show it to you, and you're gonna go, oh.
Oh.
Like, you ever like drink too much whiskey in one swallow? Like,
Yeah.
like that? You get the, it's
Is
good.
that what happened?
Like the whiskey's good, but you drank too
What's
much in
that
one
guy's
swallow.
name on Blue Collar Comedy? The things that make you go.
Oh, yeah. Is that Ron White? Is that what it is?
No, it's
I
it's the
saw
other guy.
Ron White live though. He is
good?
funny. Yeah, man. You want to talk about doing less and getting more? That man stands there, drinks his whiskey, smokes a cigar, and
That's
you
fun.
can't stop laughing.
Dude,
Yeah.
He's super good.
He
Yeah.
is.
You guys keep filling this dead space because I'm gonna find this dead ass photo.
Okay, so you mentioned psychedelics earlier.
Oh
Yeah.
God, man, I shouldn't give me the mic.
So over the past year or plus, since Darla got pregnant,
Yeah.
we haven't at all even thought about it.
Mhm.
But before that life change, it was something that I definitely didn't have the cell phone number to just call and get it. So
Yeah.
it was more of like opportunity based.
Yeah.
But I think that's when it was at the right time because I was around good people that were in the right environment, creating the right vibes for me to really get a great experience about it.
Yeah.
And it's something that I would never promote as a daily thing, or I heard like a micro dosing, that's
Yeah.
an option or something. It was, and again, it might fall back on a personality, but I do believe that psychedelics are something that is almost like a reset, a humbling experience. It very, very, you see a light a little brighter.
Are you speaking to mushrooms specifically or what?
Yeah, mushrooms. I've had more experience with mushrooms. I've had experiences with mushrooms where, it wasn't a good experience.
Yeah, which are beneficial too.
Yeah, but I've had more great experiences when I started really respecting it.
Yeah, paying attention to where
Yeah.
you are, who you're with, what you have to do later.
I mean,
we have
even
to
with
do
marijuana,
tomorrow.
like I don't smoke marijuana when, you know, I'm cooking bacon or something. You know, like I smoke marijuana when I set the vibe to smoke marijuana. Like I tell Darla,
It's intentional.
right? Like, hey, I'm gonna go roll a joint, and then like we'll maybe pour some coffee and go out on the porch and watch the sun or something. You know,
That's what I was telling him. That's why I made environment such a big deal, because I'm like, I feel bad because I gave him this weed experience and this weed story in a terrible environment.
That's a bad.
Like that's where I'm like, Eli, like what the hell?
As a veteran, you should have known better.
I 100% should have known better.
He should have.
I remember being in there just like, damn it, Eli. Versus wait until, hey, the day's over, we're watching the sunset, let's chill in the parking lot, put the tailgate down for a bit, and just
we did
fucking
do
sit.
that. Then I went inside, ate all the fortune cookies, and tried to see my future through fortunes from some Panda Express.
Well, you know, you smoked something good then.
Wait till we're in Estes Park on horseback, and we'll.
No. I know what you're
We'll
trying
do
to
it
do
again.
man.
Well, Colorado Springs is real nice. I live on the west side. I don't know if you know, we were talking about the incline. Manitou and the whole old Colorado City, the vibe there is right in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love being able to walk down the strip, and you know, just everybody down there seems like they're individuals, they're creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's art or if it's food or whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, they have conviction on it, and they're that character, and
Just
so it's a
doing their
cool environment to be around.
Yeah, everything's real historic looking. And
Absolutely, and there's really cool in Manitou. They have, I think it's called Spirit Water or something like that.
Okay.
And it's coming out of the creeks to fall, like spring water,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes out of a water fountain that's kind of got like a shrine built around it. And people go there and fill up their water, or they go and rub the water on their face. It's kind of like a holy water, but it's like spirit water or something like that. And so it's fun to take my kids and show them that and kind of believe in that for a minute. And if you do it and you believe in it, you're almost like, did that work? Is there something in this water? You know, so it's a cool vibe, man. And I'm really blessed to be living down there.
Man,
we have a beautiful view of Pikes Peak.
Yep.
And so it's cool, rather than where we were out in brushed Fort Morgan area, living in a trailer out in the desert.
Yeah, that's
That
a
was
big
rough,
change,
right?
bro.
That was roughing it.
It was.
We went out there one time.
Mm-hmm.
I think y'all stopped by.
We not to your house, but to when you were moving out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put some stuff in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, y'all came out to the little storage bin I had out there.
And
Yeah,
ate Taco Bell in the parking lot.
I appreciate y'all's
Bro, that
help
was
too. Man, I
love.
needed it.
That was love, bro.
It was.
It smelled like poop out there.
Yeah, it
straight
does.
up.
Fucking poop.
Straight up.
I think it's like a sugar farm or something. I don't know what's going on out
It's
there.
just
fun
farm
to watch.
smells like that?
It's just watch the fun. It's just fun to watch the climb. You know, just like guys. Just
Well, it
in
was
it
really
and-
cool. We were talking about it earlier about, you know, being humble and looking back on that grind. And man, I was talking with Raw Records, and we were just talking about our tour and what it's going to be like compared to where it was. And it was hard to get off that bus and then go climb into your dirty minivan after a month. And but it was cool to see that growth, right, of touring. And so we were on that bus with Demon Jones, and we're touring around the country. You know, that's not going to be how we're just going to start back up.
Right.
We're going to start back up the way that we started back up 3 years ago. And so we're talking about
Yeah, but you've been there before.
we have, and we're not scared of it. And it's almost like I'm looking forward to that, because that's what I need. I need some blood in the water. I need some
grit.
pain.
Dude,
You know
when I
what I'm
went
saying?
when I stepped to that pantry, man, the number one question I would get for people that were listening was like, "Hey, when you said that your lady was living with her parents and so was your daughter, but you were living in this pantry, why didn't you live with them?" I said, "Cause man, it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like. I'm putting myself into a new chapter, right? Like, and I'd been under pressure before, and I know that, hey, I thrive there, but I also can't run. There's no running from it. I need to be thinking about this all day, every day. So I'd wake up, I'd go to the gym, I'd study for 8-9 hours a day. I'd go do lift at night for a bit just to make a little bit of cash. I'd go to fucking sleep in that pantry on a twin mattress, dude. And like, I couldn't get away from my goal. I couldn't get away from it. But I also had to eliminate distraction. And when I was first doing this, it was around the holidays, and I could not be eating cake and apple pie and watching Christmas movies and having these whole, I'm getting time with my daughter when I should be studying. And it's real easy when you're like, I got to get quality time with kids. And you're like, yeah, but you got a mission, and your kids are not going to have much if you don't get after it. And you're not going to have much to say to them as they get older if you don't get after it. So I had to just put myself under that pressure, and that's the same kind of thing. You guys are getting back out there, and the industry isn't the same as what it used to be. Everybody's regrouping, so we got to get grit. But guess what? The people that are prepared to do that are the ones that will rise above and that will actually be bigger. And it'll catapult you further than maybe you would have been if you were in line with everybody else when the economy and everything else is riding prime, and you got a lot of people in front of you versus like now, people that are willing to put in the work and be loyal and get back out there and do the work that it takes might catapult you and just jump you in front of hundreds of other bands or other people that just are failing, quitting, not willing to go back. You know what I mean? Like, it would take a lot for you not to have to go back to boot camp.
I think I'd do it, though.
Well, for the right reason. But you see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of folks that kind of made it in that industry, or a lot of folks, dude, just like in real estate, when this shit gets tough, dude, people that can kind of skate and do a couple deals here and there because it's not terribly hard, they're not the same people that win when it gets tough. And it's the same thing, right? Like, there's only so many people that are willing to go back to that to get back to where they were and beyond. Some people just, man, they're just afraid of that, or they just don't want to do it.
Well, we're excited about it. We're going to be
man.
So Demon Jones built a stage on a trailer with risers, and it's amazing looking. I haven't seen it in person yet, but he's done some video calls where he's showed it off, and his plan is to pull up in your backyard. And he's got over 250 people that have already requested it. And so he gave us a call and was like, hey, this is the situation, these venues or whatever. It might be just a Demon Jones show, but y'all come and get in.
Headline, do something.
Do a song or two with Demon, sell merch, but just us being there and showing up, that's huge.
Dude, those are going to be the stories you talk about back, and when you guys have made it, quote unquote, we're all old and like talking about how cool we are and shit, like the stories we talk about, man, like when we're talking about pedo, right? It's division schools. It's division schools, man. It's like, it's those stories. It's not like some crazy night. Like, no, it's just those moments and like the intimacy of just division schools and who we all were back then. It's like, you're going to remember those fucking trailer concerts at some point.
And I think it's great because guys like Demon, like we were saying, those guys that are just happy with that 1 or 2 contract a month, and they're cut from a different piece of cloth. Guys like us, we're cut from a bandana, dog. And so a guy like Demon Jones, he ain't sitting around waiting for a venue to call him. He said, "Nah, I'm gonna go build my own stage, create my own environment." Yeah. And that's the way that we solve this.
You have to.
You get creative and you get powerful and you get aggressive.
Not only are you guys gonna remember those stories, the fans are gonna be like, when you guys are back on your big stage and doing your thing, they're gonna be like, I remember when those jokers were in my fucking backyard in my hometown doing what they had to do. And like, people want to follow that, man. Like,
they do.
Some of our fan base are just good people that like love supporting guys that are like on the rise and doing their thing, and they're encouraging, but there's also like this intimacy of like when you can still reach out and message someone and just have that and share them. Like, man, I remember Eli when, he was still talking about smoking weed with JT, and I met him in St. Louis one time, and they're big now, but man, I remember when they were still this. Like, it's fun. It's fun for your fan base too.
That's what I love about this genre too, because the country rap, country hip hop genre that I'm in, majority of these artists are very humble, homegrown, down to earth type.
Well,
of
it's
people.
such a new industry too.
I mean, you got guys like the Lax who are massive, or Ryan Upchurch, which is massive, and all I hear about these guys, and every time I've had an encounter with the Lax, they've been nothing but welcoming and wanting to have a conversation, mentor you. You see their engagement with their fans is very personal and they're very consistent. And that's what I love about this genre, is that it's growing every day. The fan base is loyal. But the actual artists, the
community.
ones, the community is great, man. It's so supportive. Right now, you got a little beef going on here and there. It's kind of frustrating, and it's kind of like a letdown because we're better than that. But it's getting corrected because people are calling it out and saying, hey, cut it out. That ain't how we're going to get to where we need to be as a genre, you know?
Dude, that's the number one fault sometimes we see in fitness. It's just the drama and, like, the dudes feuding. It just takes away from the sport. People don't want to be a part of it, Yeah. Florida Georgia Line.
What about them?
They hip hop?
You asked me this before, I believe.
I know. I'm just,
I would say that they're more on just your mainstream country, man.
But they got a little bit of hip hop in them. Where do you think they got that from? Just hearing some of these other guys. Not that they're copycats. I'm not saying that at all. But just because those guys are from down south, and like you think those guys grew up on some of the guys you mentioned, and maybe
I bet.
it just was kind of in them a little bit in addition to their singing.
I think a lot of artists nowadays are so versatile, and so you got to look back to what they were listening to, and I guarantee they had Travis Tritt and Tupac sitting in their center console.
To your point.
You know, and so
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
And
you
this
know?
shit's fun, man.
Yeah.
It
Like
is.
that's just like you throw a little bit of like a hip hop beat into something, and it just makes it fucking fun.
It's the atmospherics of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, after we wrap this up, I'll show you guys a song that Demon Jones just dropped. It's called All the Way Up.
Okay.
And you can listen to this and think about it.
No
being
one can stop
mainstream.
me. I'm all the way up there.
Not that one?
No, not that one. But
okay.
it has, you can just,
That was my audition.
you
for
can see how country hip hop is starting to evolve to this mainstream and paving our own lane. Florida Georgia Line's a great example, but I would not say that they're doing what we're doing.
They're more singing for sure.
For sure, and they're absolutely in that mainstream pocket. But that's not saying it's a bad pocket to be in.
No, but they'll have like a set in a song that has a little bit to it, but the song is not hip hop.
And so we're just trying to put out dope music, trying to stay consistent, but we're at the same time, Long Cut, Raw Records, we are trying to pave our own lane and put a tattoo, if you would say, on this genre. And because it is a very versatile genre. You got guys that interpret country hip-hop a lot different, depending on maybe where they're from in the United States or all over the world. I mean, we have people that listen to us in Australia and Ireland. And so it's really cool to be able to hear somebody maybe that's in Colorado interpret country hip-hop different than someone in Mississippi, you know. But that's what's great about the fan base is that they're looking for real music, genuine music like that song Chains. You know, and this song Bump that we're coming out with, everybody's going to be able to relate to these songs no matter where you're at. Yeah. And I think a lot of times mainstream country.
Like Cocaine Bump or like Bump Your Music?
Like bump your music, man. Okay. Like, you know, and mainstream sometimes can, in my opinion, kind of all sound the same sometimes. Yeah. And it has its formula. Country hip hop is still figuring out that formula. You got guys that are doing this successfully with different sounds.
So there's something freeing about that, you know?
Yeah, and you mentioned like something being like within reach, within touch. What's fun about your music, man, like it is relatable. Like I can't relate to a lot of mainstream hip hop, believe it or not, right? I can't relate. It's fun, you know? Like the lyrics are fun and stuff and can make you feel cool when you're lifting weights, but relatable for me, not really. Right. But then you listen to your music and it's like the fun hip hop vibe, but then, man, you guys are talking about fucking lifted trucks and hard work and
dude,
like being dirty and shit.
Well, if you have friends from down south, like they do like that stuff.
Yeah, well, and it's cool. You can relate to like, yeah, big
and here's the bottom line
cool.
with art. If it's good, it's good.
It is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it moves people, it moves people. That's what's so powerful about that stuff. Because there's been other genres or other singers that have come up before that maybe you wouldn't think, you know. But if it's good, like what was that? Adele. She's not your typical look. She's overweight. She doesn't run across stage, and she's not this powerful entertainer like Beyonce, dancing and moving and doing all this stuff. And she's overweight, but like her music, man, like one, people related to her. Secondly, like her music was powerful and it was good, and like, dude, it made it. If it's good, it's good. You know?
You never know what's gonna kick.
Yeah.
You know, it could. We have a
which
song.
is why it's so important to be yourself, right? Because you can't go being someone else trying to guess with what's going to work. You just got to be you and be the best at it.
And when we took on Long Cut, it was very funny looking back. You know, when we're looking at some of our photos, looking at some of our videos, and where we're at now, it's we've simplified the right things, if that's even a word. Is it?
Sure.
Simplified? And hip hop it is.
Simplified. You know,
You're a
that's
rapper.
what we did, man.
You're a rapper, bro.
We created a simple environment to let it be focused more on the music rather than what we're wearing type of thing, you know, because that's what's dragging us down, stressing us out, you know, but it's part of that growth. It's part of that lesson that needs to be learned. It's not really about what you're looking like, you know, in this genre.
You saw Eminem go through that.
Right.
Eminem was like wearing like all white or all red jumpsuits and certain Nikes, and like now dude wears like a neutral black jacket. Right. He's got a beard and throws on some jeans and some sneakers.
And it might have come with age. I don't know.
I think it comes with both.
Or would that have worked for him back then?
Yeah.
No, it did work because you were younger. But I also think
that I mean, like if back when he first started off, if he did have,
but he was also finding himself. He talked about it. You know, like dude, he was a white rapper, like going extremely violent. There's a lot of shit that comes with that, right? So. But I also think like the more self-awareness and self-acceptance you have with who you are, so the louder you are, the quieter your appearance can be. Versus like when you're still kind of finding yourself, the outside, your appearance and certain things tend to be louder than you as you're kind of figuring it out. And I think it just comes with maturity and poise. And you're also, when you're figuring out, you're also trying to fit in a little bit. I think humans by nature, we tend to be chameleons a little bit. Like when I first started real estate, man, I put on a tie. I wore nice clothes and put on a tie. And not because I was trying to fake anything. I was just like, you see the industry.
That's what you do.
And when you see the industry, you see the middle of the road. You see the 80% in the highway, right? So you just like, okay, man, let me kind of get in and fit in and figure this thing out. The more you become comfortable with yourself and what makes you unique and what makes you, your demeanor, your ability to articulate, the way you take care of clients, your appearance, everything tends to settle back down to its buoyancy at its truest form, which is you. You know, and I think it's just part of maturity and it's just a physical appearance of growth.
Absolutely. And these fans will let you know that too. They're not shy. And so if you're
take that fucking bandana off or some shit, right?
They're passionate about this genre, and that's what makes it powerful. And as an artist, it matters because we're talking about values of America, you know, and values of a culture, and
it's a different form of expression. Like, no disrespect to country music, but it's kind of in the clouds, right?
Country
like
music.
Yeah, like it doesn't really get very controversial with like anything.
Right.
But hip hop has always been at the heart of, even when you look at East Coast, West Coast battles, but like when you had Ice Cube out there talking about fuck the police.
Right.
Not the best words per se, but he was getting the attention of what was going on. And he was passionate about what he was doing. Like hip hop on the West Coast and East Coast was always speaking to like controversy that was going on, current events, society, and just what they felt mattered. Country music has always been like love songs, hanging out with your boys and drinking beer, getting over a broken heart, your dog in your truck. And I'm not against it.
Right.
But very rarely, like Garth Brooks had a song, We Shall Be Free. Dude, if you watch his documentary, they tried to not let that play at the Super Bowl. Right. And he goes, cool, I'm not singing your national anthem. Because that was the deal. Dude, the story he has about the hoops the network had to jump through to get that thing to go because they finally realized he wasn't calling. He was leaving the fucking stadium or some shit like that. And they finally figured out he came back. But he's like, hey, I'm not going to sing the national anthem and do my part that you guys want me to. Hey, I'm here. I showed up and I'm here. But now you're not playing this. And it was a We Shall Be Free song. What more? And he's like, his documentary came out recently on Netflix. And he's like, very rarely does a song matter more now than it did back then?
Yeah.
Very rarely does that happen. He's like, but as big as those trying times were back then, it's almost matters more now with all the riots and certain things that happened this past year. And it was like, wow. But it was like, man, there's just, I don't know what it is. And I'm obviously an outside lens and I'm limited and I'm an idiot. But I feel like there's not much with like country music. I love it. But it can kind of be a distraction because it keeps you over here with the love songs and the whatever. But like hip hop, man, you guys are talking about a lot. And it's very reminiscent of just hip hop. It's done in the country style and to your guys' style. But it's very reminiscent of like the birth of why hip hop came about in the fucking first place, which is cool. You know, which is probably why the fan base is so just respectful to you guys, but also so passionate because it's like, country has a voice now beyond Cloud9.
Yeah.
Right.
I
agree.
Breakdown.
You know, Long Cut, we try to walk that line without having no issues. You know, we try to really keep the cussing down to a limited. We don't really try to get controversial, but at the same time, we don't want to just be robots. We want to be able to express our opinion. So what we really try to do is implement that patience and run several different scenarios through a song. Think about your lyrics. You know, how can you say what you want to say, but do it in a creative way?
Well, and here's the thing: when it's not all the time, I think it's actually heard better when you do drop a particularly impactful line.
Because
or meaningful
anybody,
line.
I could go right now on Google and type in 2020 topics, right? Controversial topics, and I could write 3 albums. But you know what? There's already artists that do that.
Yeah.
And it's because it's easy. I agree. That's what I say. I mean, I could literally do that. So this is already providing content.
Right.
But you take a song like Chains. I think that song right there wraps up everything all in one song because we thought about it and let everything kind of settle in before we just start vomiting at the mouth,
Yep.
you know, trying to express your opinion. Okay, is it about me or is it about the music?
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, I could definitely do that. But I just sliced a big separation between my fan base now.
Yep.
And I don't want that. That's what music's not here to cause that. So
Well, and it's a different thing if that's a calling of yours, if there's something you're so passionate about and that goes into your music. But when it's this intentional, hey, there's content
you're doing it
here,
for
let's
clout.
fucking make a song about it. Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah,
where it goes
attention
back
and
to
clout.
Yeah.
do it for the right reasons, being
Right.
yourself. Myself, I don't want problems like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want a divided crowd. I don't want somebody coming on a post and expressing their opinion because they are mad about my opinion. I don't have,
actually don't give a fuck about this
so
so much.
if you look at
Yeah.
our Facebook, it ain't nothing about nothing really besides Long Cut.
Yeah.
You know, I solely just listen to Long Cut. You know, I'm that's what I'm focused on, is to make our music better. So yeah, I do want to have better songs every time. And the situation or the scenario that's out there isn't justifying what I'm writing about. It's stimulating emotions for me to pay attention to create a song like Chains.
And just planting seeds.
Planting seeds. And
Just
that
putting
song
some
was
thought
written
out
by
there.
Brian Thomas. He wrote that song.
Chains.
Chains. Him and I think Brandon Hart had a lot to do with that song. And when that song was sent to me saying, hey, this is a banger, I mean, it put me in tears listening to it because I could hear the conviction in Brian's voice when he's singing it, and I know his story. Yeah. And so if it's doing that to me, I know that's doing that to everybody else who's listening. And just like I was saying that you don't have to respond to every message because your content's doing it, that's what that song's going to do, I believe.
Yeah.
Everybody's had a hard time, not just this year, but they've had a hard time in period, and it's up and down in life. And you have to be able to be willing to break those chains and not be restricted on your own behalf.
Yeah.
And that's what that is. COVID-19, it shut us down, but it doesn't mean that you can't start a houseplant project. You know what I mean? That doesn't
Do what you can.
Right. It doesn't exactly. Break chains and adapt and overcome, and don't restrict yourself off that clickbait.
Yeah.
When are you dropping that song? Where can people
That
download
album.
it? Where can people find it?
It's a whole album, right?
Yeah, it's an entire album. What's really cool about this album is that it started off, so we came out starting 2021 off with a single, Crickets, and we followed that single up with Doing All Right. And these songs were great songs, very powerful, positive songs. And I had like this habit that was happening where I was writing songs that had that bump in it, that had that swag in it, you know, and it was different than what we were doing with Crickets and Doing All Right. And so I'm submitting these songs up to Raw Records, and they're all kind of sounding similar, but they're different. And so the original game plan was to put out an EP, an EP, just five songs. Well, then Demon was like, well, let's do a whole album, and let's actually put a project together, a real project. And so that was exciting. And that's when we started booking the music videos and getting the distribution in line.
That's also started all this.
Yeah. And so this is kind of not, it's not new that we're dropping the album. We've talked about it now for a while, but we're pulling the trigger now.
That's cool.
It is cool. And so the entire album, I go to the studio tomorrow to finish the mixing and the mastering process. And we're about 70% done with the mixing. And so once that's done, then from there, we hand that over. The artwork gets creative. The merchandise starts getting put together. The date gets set. So we don't have a date set. We don't have any of that established. But here in the next 96 hours, it is going to be established. And I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Very
Awesome.
cool. Well, let's leave it with that. Let's play some. We're gonna play that. We're gonna play that outro and let it tease for a little while. And man, super appreciate your time coming up here and hanging out with us and vibing out. And
It's fun, man.
yeah, it's always
this
fun.
is
You're just one of those homies, man. We try to have on as regularly as possible. And hey, you're busy, we're busy, but once a quarter, twice a year, whatever it turns out to be, depending on everyone's work schedule. It's just fun to get you in here and vibe out and have a good time. And we love doing the podcast. We love bringing high level people on. Not that you're not high level, you are, but you're also our friend. And I think that's part of the liberation of, like, when you see Joe Rogan, man, dude's got his friends on, like Brendan Schaub and some other guys, and it's like, yeah, they're great guys, and you can hear them and you can listen to it and it's entertaining, but they're also his friends. And man, that was one of our favorite things about what Joe does is he brings on interesting and high level people and people he thinks can better an audience, and provide value to an audience. But he also, man, He brings his friends on. You just love watching when guys are just hanging out, having a
yeah.
good time, and it makes you want to make sure that you have that in your own life. Whether you're on a podcast or not, you just want to get your guys around and have a good time and hang out. And I feel like we really try to, like we had Tosh on not too long ago. He's still in the same state. Don't freak out, right? But having him on and talking about everything that he's doing and supporting him and supporting you, and just, it's, man, I never want to let go of like the importance of friendships and being a value add for them, but then also just exposing our fan base to the importance and enjoyment of just good friends.
Yeah, when you got good people in your life, you want other people to experience good people.
100%.
Yeah.
Amen.
You're one of those good people, brother.
Rock that record.
Right back to you. I appreciate
right.
y'all.
Day $1 guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Out.
on my truck, bitch. This is for my team, man. We out here on the come up. Now you breaking chains with the band name Long Cut. Yo, I never was the same once I rode off the lot. Promise Papa on my name, I come back with a lot. Put the music on my shoulders and I climb to the top. And I've been waiting